always the site's always.
Hey, how's it going? I'll be right back while people are joining.
Good morning.
Hey, what's up, Will?
We can hear you, senor. You're on mute.
What's up, Will?
Hi.
I think he hasn't realized that there's no volume.
Oh,
Yeah, I can't hear him speaking.
We can't hear you, Will.
hey guys, is everybody taking off everything off of Binance?
Long time.
I only have like $300 in there. You know, I move up everything before, other than those little things to buy coins here and there.
Okay.
But I move up everything from all exchanges, not just that one.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yep.
Hey, what's up, Will?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Testing,
up?
testing. Let me see. Can you hear me now?
You hear
Yeah.
you? Yep.
Yes.
Okay. All right. You guys can hear me now. All right, cool. So was I talking all the time because couldn't hear me a minute ago?
Yeah.
You hear
Not hear
nothing. Not a word.
Saw the cursor moving.
Gotcha. All right. I'll recap it.
I went through like your whole thesis.
So basically, like I said, this was the macro move right here, right? Macro move came up, hit the high, pulled back down. We're already falling back under it. Expectations tomorrow, the fact that they're holding price here is, to me, it tells me the market's trying to figure out, will tomorrow be bad or be good? You're probably like, what do you mean tomorrow? So tomorrow, the inflation report comes out again, and we find out if inflation is actually still going down or if inflation starts to reflect back up. So if the inflation starts to move back up at all from current levels, doesn't have to be higher than the previous or anything like that, just at all, it'll be bearish for the market. If inflation continues down, we could see a nice rally, right, tomorrow from the markets and indices and stuff like that. And really, that's kind of the gamble, the bet that everybody has right now. Currently, I'm very market neutral, right? So I'm not super scared, but to make a move on this, but I do have some spot long positions, and I have a little bit of short exposure, but my short exposure is more in the traditional markets, which you guys are already aware of. So my spot moves on crypto, which is what I'm holding as like a hedge position for upside, are, in the altcoins that I kind of told you guys. Now I'll expect definitely that, if Bitcoin runs up, we'll see alts run up. I think tomorrow, if we see BTC kind of pull off of this order block that it, previously came down into and is looking like it wants to pull back out of, that's really what this looks like. It doesn't look like it wants to fall through. This is something we talked about, right? Body candle sold above, that's support. That means that this thing's probably going to try and pull back out. And if we see a move back up, it's really suspicious that they're holding right on the order block, right? It's really, really suspicious that they're doing that. And so I don't want to be on the wrong side of the move. And that's why I'm spot long, not longing, right? Is I want to be able to take advantage of the move if it does run up. And really what I'm thinking is we'll come out with some kind of BS news towards the beginning of the report, or everybody will feel super bullish about it, right? And then we'll see a run up. That's my thoughts. My thoughts is we'll see the run up. That's our M, right? And then I think from that run up, we'll then catch a rejection from that move back down to the lows. So we have to keep in mind that those lows don't necessarily reflect that we have to go lower right now. Those lows just follow the current trend and take that as your low, right? And where price would land from there would put us right above the previous order block, right? The previous last down before the last up. So with that being said, there's really not a lot to be seen here. There's some price action moves that can come in, and really this price action could take out both sides, right? This thing tomorrow could open and then run up real hard and then dump back down real hard, or if it dumps down real hard, then more than likely it's going to come back up real hard. That's really the way you should think of this, because like the market's going to react the wrong way at the start, like it always does. Every single report, it usually goes the opposite direction of the direction it's trying to go, and then it'll start to roll back the other direction once people kind of realize what's going on. And typically, if they're looking to shake out people, they're typically looking to go low before they go up, right? Go low before they go high, and that's why they're holding the high end of the order block here. And then what they'll do tomorrow, if they're looking to come back up, is they'll go low and then they'll run back up, right? And if they're looking to come down, they'll go high and then they'll roll back down. And if they go high and roll back down, expect price is just going to probably trickle down. It's not going to just be like a fallout, I don't think, tomorrow, my own personal opinion, because I think the report's going to be really close. I don't think that it's going to be super bullish. I think it's actually going to be more on the bearish side, but I don't think it's going to be super bearish, right? I think it's going to be just enough to entice people into believing, oh, everything's great, and then run price up and soak out all that liquidity. Again, this is the premium zone up here, right? Where price became a distribution zone. This is your premium price zone now. That's what this is. So the market maker is soaking the market for all they can get up here in this higher range. And then once they've accumulated enough liquidity from this range, they can do whatever they want from here, right? And markets right now are not friendly to liquidity. So when I say not friendly to liquidity, I mean to retail coming in and being ate up at the highs. So for them to push price higher, it's not going to be as enticing in the current circumstances with the way rates are. So for me, it's like, okay, a double top makes more sense. A move back to the high and to a rotation to the low, right? And I think that's really the ultimate goal move here, but that's not all going to happen tomorrow. What's going to happen tomorrow, like I said, it's going to be a run up to a run down. It's going to be between these two order blocks. That's where they're going to be shooting between. I don't think they're going to go super bullish and freak out and jump to 31K tomorrow. Just like I don't think they're going to go super bearish and just go straight down to like, 14, 15K tomorrow. I don't think either one of those things play out. I think it's just a run up into a run down to liquidate both sides of liquidity. I definitely don't think that there are as many shorts as there are longs in crypto, at least. Basically looking at the charts and stuff like that. And the fact that they're rolling over on this really makes me believe that they're looking to come up to catch people long, aka trap them a second time, right? Because if they come back up here, the people that longed up here at the highs, they're not going to close their positions. They're just not. They're going to take that as an indication that the market's going to run up, and then they're gonna hold their positions. And then what they'll do is they'll run it down fast, right? You want that fast move because that fast move is what traps people. When you move in, you've now got people trapped, right? So now people are trapped in this position on their shorts, except in this position, when they trapped them in their shorts, they liquidated them, right? They trapped them with this move and then liquidated them here. And really what you look for on this higher position, you're looking for people to get overly bullish, but it's kind of dumb to me to get overly bullish when you're under the 200 weekly moving average, right? I think it's really dumb to get bullish under the 200 weekly moving average. Why? Did we get above the 200 weekly moving average? Did we even get close to it? No. We barely pushed up close to it and rejected before we ever even got to it. So because we rejected in that zone, I'm really just like, okay, the best case scenario here is they roll this up maybe to the high end of the OB, which is around 25K, right? And really that's the highest move they can get this. And what that would be is that's a real simple move, really simple move. It's just an A into a B into a C, right? And once that ABC is done, this thing rolls over and comes back the other way. So we have to understand that, like this isn't going to be a straight go right now. And I think our other scenario is maybe some chop suey. Maybe we just sit here and we kind of roll like this between these two liquidity zones. If the market maker finds those two zones enticing, we got to continue to watch this play out. But really, we've tapped the highs, right? This is the high end of the liquidity where we've already tapped that. We tapped it here. We tapped it here. We tapped the lows a little bit here, right? But this is still a fast move. And when you're getting fast moves, again, you're trapping, right? So when they came down, people here, what do you think people did here? What do you think they did right here? People more than likely went long there, right? And then when they went long there, they trapped the longs. Now, a lot of those longs probably got liquidated in this singular move, right? The singular move down to the low was the liquidation point. Then what did they do? Well, you got people now shorting, right? Those same long people are revenge trading. And then they come up and they trap the shorts. But as you can see here, when they trap them, this is the same move, right? This is the same exact move on both sides. This is actually technically less liquidity than what they dumped over here. This is less. And when they trapped them here, did they go lower? Anybody?
Yeah.
I can't hear you, MG, if you're talking.
It look,
Hold on one sec.
yeah, it looks like it went lower. Dropped below everything. You can hear me?
I can't hear you, MG, if you're talking. Can anybody talk
Okay.
real quick just so I can see if my headset's working?
Test.
Yes. I think
That,
we're on.
that,
Check. You can't
Give me
hear
one
me?
second. Give me one.
Probando.
Gotta figure out what's going on here.
Uno, dos.
Can you hear me
Oh.
now?
That's why. Okay. Now I can hear you guys. All right, go ahead and talk. Sorry.
No, you asked if it went lower, and I said, yeah, it looks like it dropped a lot lower.
No. After this move, did it go lower?
Oh, no, it didn't.
It didn't go lower, right? So why would people think the same move on the other side is going to go higher? Do you see what I'm saying? To me, I think that the best case scenario is this is a range bound move, right? So range bound being the highs and the lows. Like if we were to just take everything out the chart, I'll show you what that looks like. It's kind of a range of liquidity between here and here. That's really all this is at the end of the day. It's not, there's nothing enticing price here to go higher. In my opinion, right? And I say that more because of a few things. That's the stochastic way overbought still, right? While I will admit on the weekly, the RSI looks very primed, right? It looks very primed. It's sitting right on top of the 50. It meets my conditions. Again, you guys know my conditions. Sits on top of the 50. If it can start to move off that, that could be a bullish move. Again, but that doesn't mean it has to break high, right? It just means that it comes back up, entices people back into that ABC, and then traps them. And then from here, everybody's long, right? Because once you form a higher high, everybody thinks go. They think go time. Do you want to see where else that failed? Everybody thought
Oh,
go time.
shit.
You can't get fooled by these moves. That's all I'm telling you. It's the same thing over. Look, same thing here to here. Everybody thought go time. These are the things that you guys really got to pay attention to. The market maker is really tricky with liquidity. They're not just going to give you money like that. They're not going to give you money like that. This is giving you free money. That's what this move did. It gave you free money.
So you're saying those two pieces of the chart are similar based on the stochastic? Because the stochastic looks the same, but the RSI looks kind of different. Or actually, no, RSI looks the same too.
Looks the same. Yep.
Is that that's what you're basing it on? The RSI and stochastic?
Mhm. Same place.
Oh,
Yep.
shit. Yeah, they look the same.
See how they form the higher high over here on the right, lower high over here, lower high over here, higher high over here.
Yeah.
But this overall was bearish, right? That was overall was bearish. And a lot of people are looking at the RSI and they were like this. And they're like, oh, well, we switched trends. Yes, we did. But we also had a few conditions, right? A few conditions met. And that was a bullish div, right? And a trend switch. You broke out of this bearish downtrend from the RSI standpoint, right? And you're going to have a reactionary move from that. I completely agree. And that's exactly what happened. Just like we had a reactionary move from the bullish div, just like we had a reactionary move from the falling wedge. I heard a guy today in one of the Twitter spaces I was in, and he was like, oh yeah, we had a falling wedge, yada, yada. I think it's up from here, yada, yada. And I was like, that's, and he tried to use the falling wedge as a statement as of, right? And the falling wedge just means up forever. A falling wedge doesn't mean up forever. You guys got to understand how a falling wedge works. So I'm going to explain it a little bit. But basically, a falling wedge has a measured move, right? And that measured move is based off of the drop. So we'll actually come closer into here. I want to kind of clean this up a little bit. There we go. That's a little bit cleaner. Maybe drop that up a little bit more. A little bit more down. Okay. So you got the falling wedge right here, right? Price is building to the downside. And eventually, after it builds to the downside, it breaks out of this falling wedge. Well, what's the measured move on a falling wedge? Typically, the measured move is the high to the low of the wedge, right? So if you were to take that and you were to take it from the low end of the move, aka where the thing shot straight up, what do we do? So if I were to, we'll just drop this down there. We'll bring that up there. Did we fulfill the measured move?
Yes.
We fulfilled it. It's fulfilled. And that's exactly what I brought up in the Twitter space when they were talking about that earlier today. I was like, the measured move's already been filled. There's no reason to go higher from here. I'm not saying that we can't. I'm not trying to be, I guess, necessarily bearish specifically on the move, but I just, all conditions have been met. There's no reason to say up from here, right? The only thing you can say from here is we need to see consistency in the market and we need to see a breakout, right? And then from that breakout, we can then take the move on the retest. So let's say breakout, boom, goes through, right? That's a breakout. Then guess what? Comes back and retests. If it consolidates, hey, we're good, right? And more than likely that consolidation will be all the way until it hits trend eventually. It's not going to be, something where we're going to come up and just start going. That's what people don't understand. That's not how this thing works. We had the fall over here. They dropped down, moved up, came over, fell down, right? Then tried to move back up again, lower high, boom, drop. Came back down and retested lows. And I think no matter how much this thing runs up this year, this is what we will see going into 2024. They can run this thing, and really it could even test the other direction, right? It doesn't have to test in the positive way. It could test this way too. And I've showed you that with the S&P and other stocks, where typically on that second retest to the low, they make a deeper move. So that's something I'm kind of entertaining. Again, for me right now, all this is telling me is we are here and we are just playing the liquidity. That's it. Look, I'm going to show you the same thing up here. The high, right? The high. See how both candles, the fat part of the candles underneath, and look, the low. What did we do? You guys see what's going on here? That's all it is at the end of the day. We're just playing liquidity. We're just stepping down. This is just step one. And this is step two.
So, Will, is there a scenario where it doesn't go back down to the lows that we just seen?
I mean, there's always a scenario that could happen.
Yeah.
This, at the end of the day, trading is a game of odds, right? You're just basically trying to play the game. You're trying to look at the best odds, best possibilities. You don't hear me, like I hear some bears talking like 3 to 5K. You don't hear me saying shit like that. I just don't. I don't think it's plausible. Mathematically, I don't think it's possible. Right? But I am still bearish because I think we could definitely still see lower lows. I just don't think they're going to be that low.
Even if they start to get closer to a lower inflation percentage, because wouldn't that be the idea when they do tomorrow?
Lower
when they do
inflation percentage doesn't mean anything.
Well, isn't that what you said, that when it gets down to 2%, then
No, so that's not what the read is tomorrow.
okay.
So kind of is, but basically there's no probability in my mind that we get to 2% this year. Like zero. At the current rates.
What they announced tomorrow, is that not the same units that that the 2% is in? Is that whatever the drop tomorrow, or whatever the direction or whatever, is that not in the same is not that basically the same unit as the 2% that they're talking about for the inflation?
What do you mean by units?
Like tomorrow, you're saying 2% inflation is when we can see it turn around and
Mhm.
get bullish. Are tomorrow the number that they're announcing, is that related to the 2%?
Yeah,
Like, is that-
it's related to inflation, but we're not even close to 2%.
Right, but if it's
Last
I
report
don't
was
know.
6.5.
Sorry, right now it's 6.5.
Yeah, the last report was 6.5.
Okay, so tomorrow if they say it's 5.5, then that gets us closer to 2, right? So doesn't that kind of change the
It doesn't change the pressure on the economy.
okay, not until it's at 2%, even if we're going in
It
the
can be a
direction-
little bit before 2%. I usually look between 3 to 4 to 2. We're not even close to those numbers. Like the thing that I think a lot of people in the space don't get is like once we start getting closer to 5-6%, inflation is going to be very difficult to get lower, right? There comes a point where inflation will actually get resistant to going lower as you're trying to lower rates. Nothing goes down very easily. It may at the start because when it's way overinflated, it can come down pretty quick, right? Towards that high end of the zone. But like once you start compressing inflation to try and get it lower to the 2%, that's like trying to compress Bitcoin to try and get it lower to 1 or 2K, right? There's just so much compression that's going to apply there that you might actually get a bounce back up from inflation, closer to that 4 to 5%. So if inflation does come down, we could get a bounce back up before it comes down again.
but basically from the reaction to the reduced inflation.
Correct. Yep.
Right. Just
The
same
market
way
would
that
take
if-
it as bullish, and then they would pump the market with money, and
right.
then we get a pop right back up, and now we got
Got you.
issues.
Similar to like if Bitcoin went down to 2K, everyone would start buying and it would automatically.
And you
go
would get
back
a
up.
run up from crazy. It would be insane as far as
Right.
to run from that.
That makes
and-
sense.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm trying to explain. I guess I don't explain it very well probably at times, but is that we're going to hit a point of difficulty to get it lower, right? Before we actually get it lower. And that difficulty to get it lower, there's a good chance the way the market's trying to read ahead of the Fed that the market's going to overread. They're going to stimulate super hard off of a good report, and it's going to run inflation right back up. And then really it comes down to, at the end of the day, the market's going to react really bad to that when that happens. And then the Fed might act irrationally based on that report, right? And again, this is just my own interpretation, my own understanding through what I've seen and stuff like that. As far as history and stuff like that, there's never been a perfect soft landing, right? It's always resulted in a hard landing because these kind of things happen. Either the Fed comes in and just smacks the market down, hey, boom, high rates, and they just drop all the rates all at once, or the Fed tries to ease in and eventually something breaks, and then the Fed U-turns on the brake, right? But if something breaks in the economy, what do you think is going to happen to stocks?
They're gonna dip.
They're not going to dip. They're going to fall to the floor.
Right.
They're literally going to flush out. And then the Fed will U-turn after that happens. Because why? Because the Fed's not going to react until something breaks. And
Right.
typically that something that breaks is a financial institution. That could be assets. It could be, a bunch of hedge funds going down all at once to, way over leverage to the upside, whatever.
So basically what you're saying, there has to be a reset. They can't just build
So,
on what they have right now. They have to kind of break it all down first and then build it back up.
So either the market tries to eat through these rates, which I don't think will happen. I think we'll get a rebound before that happens because of how bullish the market's trying to be. Or something breaks, everything gets flushed out, and then the Fed U-turns on that break. That's what a lot of people don't understand. They keep trying to say pivot, 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 but they don't understand that the Fed won't pivot until something literally breaks. And if something breaks, everything's getting flushed. Maybe not literally everything, but most of the markets will flush out. Liquidity will leave immediately for most markets on really bad news.
And you think that kind of needs to happen?
Well, either that will happen or we will have a soft landing, but a soft landing, we will not leave this zone of liquidity,
Right.
right? Like a soft landing, this is our floor, but we will do exactly what I'm drawing right here and play these highs and lows over and over and over again for a long period of time.
Hey, Will.
Yep.
Hey, what do you think is going to be the event that causes the flush out or the next flush out?
I mean, really, to be honest with you, it's really hard to predict those things. It is. It's just it's a fact, man. Like at the end of the day, those are all black swans. FTX was a black swan, right? Just like any institution that would break down would be a black swan. But there's no pivoting until something breaks or until we're at 2%. It's one or the other, right? We got to be at 2% or something breaks for a pivot. Those are the only ways that the Fed's gonna like, all right, we're gonna start easing. This is why the Fed's kind of like, we're gonna keep rates higher for longer. And I think a lot of people are under the belief that, or at least the market is, under the belief that the Fed won't hold rates and they'll start to pivot. But they're not explaining where this pivot's going to come from, why the pivot would happen. And they're also not explaining, okay, we're talking about pivots here, but yet every past time that the Fed has pivoted, it's usually when a financial institution is broken and the markets completely get crushed. There's never been a situation in history, where the Fed has been able to soft land the market. So like this is like when people say, oh yeah, try to call tops and bottoms. You have better odds, I think, of calling a top or a bottom than you do of the Fed landing this economy in a soft way. And that's really going out of my way right there to say that. I'll tell you that. I have zero faith in the Fed landing this economy softly. I think a lot of the Fed's rhetoric and decision making and words that he's saying are somewhat politically based and not really based around reality. Because the way he came into the last meeting, it's like, oh yeah, no, I think it's good. We're good. You know? And then he knew about the jobs report. Guarantee he knew about it. But he didn't say nothing. He let the market just eat it. Well, there's going to be one of these times he's going to let that stuff slip through and the market's going to take it really bad. And then they're going to flush out and we're going to get to a point of liquidity, right? Wherever that may be, not necessarily, crypto doesn't even matter to him, you know, in the S&P or in Tesla or some company. And that point of liquidity is going to be a major margin position where it's literally going to take somebody under. And that's going to be a big institution, more than likely. Because all institutions are leveraged just like everybody else. We got to understand, a lot of money is leveraged to the max. Like they've been leveraging all the way up. You hit certain pools of liquidity, you can crush institutions. Like just literally obliterate them financially. Because why? Because they're leveraged. They're going to get margin called. And if they get margin called, some of them are probably 90% levered. That's insane to even think about. Most of the market is running on credit. Is credit real money?
Nope.
No. So when you get margin called on credit, how are you going to pay that back? You can't. And that's really what I'm looking potentially is becoming an issue, right? Is that, just like FTX, everybody else, like, how did FTX literally have nothing on their books? They had 0 assets. Almost, well, not 0, but you get what I'm saying. They had almost nothing in assets. The only assets they had was a few hard assets where he bought some, I guess, $1 million mansions and some random stuff and invested in different businesses, but he had no assets on his platform. That's literally that's leverage to the max. And you can say, well, he's just a bad actor. I guarantee you there are institutions in the same position right now, financially.
Yeah, but his girlfriend don't know how to trade.
Well, trading ain't going to save you if you get margin called. I'll tell you that. Especially on a massively large position. That's really what drove GameStop. That's what drove the GME move. All those moves got driven by liquidity. They knew that those positions were leveraged on credit. They were not leveraged on real money. And it caused the most massive short squeeze ever. Right. And now we're seeing that implode. That whole thing's imploding right now before us. That's really what a lot of people gotta understand, right? I mean, even this move on Tesla, like this is insanity to me. Money literally just flooded out, ran right back in, pumped it back up, hit the liquidity, right? And really just like I understand charts, but sometimes it just blows my mind that like where the liquidity is going. You know where it's going. But it's like, why? Why would somebody commit that much money to a position like this? Like you literally V'd back out and you're going to come back down. It's a big roller coaster. That's all it is. It's pretty crazy, man. But yeah, that's really my thoughts. Like I like I said, we get a bounce somewheres before while inflation's continuing to come down. We get a bounce somewheres. That bounce ends up being really bad. Ends up pulling prices back on the market, dropping us into zones really that maybe people are over leveraged here now, right? They thought they caught the bottom. They're holding their positions. This thing comes back hard on them, completely liquidates their margin, and that flushes the market deeper. And then you start catching other margins on the way down. That's what causes flush outs, just so you guys know. Here, I'll show you what causes a flush out. Let me go ahead and give you guys an example of how this works. Let me go on here. So let's say a flush out starts, right? You hit a massive margin call. So somebody maybe margined here pretty massively. So price came down, bounced back up. They put in a massive leveraged long, right? Pricing came back to that leverage, crushed it, and then shoved it all the way down to here. See how basically it came down lower and then pushed it down a little more. And then price came back up, bounced. Somebody went long here. Price came down, hit that leverage position, and then started hitting more and more and more and more and more leverage positions on the way down of just longs. Where did those longs occur? They occurred over here. That's where they occurred. And as you start hitting them, guess what happens when you get called on your margin position? You have to sell it. So when you sell it, what happens to price? Drop. Oh, hit another margin. Drop. Oh, hit another margin. Drop. Hit another one. Drop, drop, drop. And I'm telling you, big players fish for those things. They fish for those. If they could see enough liquidity to flush this market straight down, they will do that. Will it all be done in one day? No, it won't. But can it be done? 100% it can be done. That's what a lot of people think this is just, retail selling all their bags. No, these are big players getting liquidated on the way down with retail panic selling on top of it. Don't get me wrong. They're definitely selling on top of it, but there's definitely a lot of margin and leverage positions in here where it's just too much leverage going out. This is why I'm telling you guys right now, ideally the best play to do, especially if you want to go long right now, which is perfectly acceptable, right? Because I told you guys it can run up just as fast. We're going to get a false move and then we're going to get a real move. So if it's up, then it's down, right? If it's down, then it's up. And if you want to leverage long, you can, but I wouldn't do it in anything other than spot right now. I'm not leveraging any of that stuff. The only thing I'm leveraging right now is the stock market. Like I said, I got like 6 months out on some puts. Outside of that, just holding what I got. Market itself, S&P pretty much just fell right back below where it started. Look. There's been no gains as much as, everyone's like, oh, S&P's up 5% on the year. Where? Yeah, January, it might be up 5%, but the S&P hasn't gone anywhere in over a year. It's literally played the same liquidity zone the whole time. If you're buying here on the S&P, maybe you're buying S&P, maybe you're buying a stock or whatever, you are literally buying just the premium price up, the high of the move. If you want confirmation, again, let it break out, let it come back and retest. This will take a long time to get out of this. I don't think we're going to get out of this anytime soon. For S&P, right? Tesla, that's a dangerous game to play to think that that thing's going to hold. Just saying, this already looks like a distribution. You can already see you got the hammer right there, right? Bigger wick on top, small wick on bottom. That's a rejection. That's a clear rejection of liquidity. And then you got the nice round move starting to form here. Even if this thing pumps back up, it's gonna dump. It's gonna dump. Just a question of where's it going to dump to? What liquidity? Will it hold here on this liquidity? If it holds here, then it's coming back to 151. Right? If it doesn't hold here, hey, might form lower lows. Right now, stochastic saying, hey, way overbought still. Extremely overbought. RSI saying, about the middle, but guess what? We're under the 50 bearish. Come over here. BNB. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can't make this stuff up. Already falling back under the resistance. BNB is just going to fall right back down to where it started all over again. Eventually it'll break, but for right now, right back down to where it started. ADA. Already came back down, found support, right? So liquidity zone is probably gonna hit about 33 cents is what I gotta say now. It'll probably hit that tomorrow. It'll probably shoot down to 33, come back up, maybe hold the zone. If nothing breaks, right? Again, that's really what all this comes down to. Is if things hold, if nothing breaks. Okay. Disney. Again, you're just buying the highs on Disney. Already rejected. Look. No progress in Disney at all. People have made no progress in Disney. Disney's literally just ran sideways the whole time. Silvergate. Yeah, go ahead.
So majority of your positions right now are shorting at the moment?
On stocks, not crypto.
On stocks. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
So I'm long crypto, short stocks. Not long like, hey, we're going to the moon. Like I'm expecting a pump tomorrow.
Trying to get audio.
Can you hear me?
Now I can, yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Beautiful, sorry. Yeah, not too bad. I was sort of I was wondering if you were there or not, and then I realized I was muted.
No dramas.
Yep. Nice to meet you.
Well, nice to see you on this.
He's talking to somebody else. Yeah, so Silvergate looks extremely bad. Again, we got another hammerhead doji, massive wick right there. This thing, I'd be looking for the bottom of this liquidity zone, $9. If not, this thing's gonna look like Rumble and fall to the floor and just drop off a cliff. Let's see here. Solana. Again. Can't make it up. Come over here. HG1 already dropping back down. Housing market's a ticking time bomb. I'll just tell you guys that too. That's a very obvious one. Yeah,
from the TA? Or just
yeah.
from,
I've been looking to a lot of different things. I posted a thing the other day. Basically, Meet Kevin shows kind of where the contractors are cooking their books and kind of just putting up proposals for houses that people can't even be approved for. This is the same as that issue we had in 2008. Same issue. They're not getting loans. They're just pretending that these people have contracts with them to try and keep investors. So
Crazy.
that's basically it. Yeah. So it's a little bit different because there's no loans going out, but it's also the same because they're manipulating currently, their investors and making them think that they have buyers.
but
And
wasn't there way more inventory back in the 2008? Doesn't that kind of change the whole
No,
dynamic of it?
we're actually gaining inventory. That's
Wow.
what a lot of people don't realize because these houses that were being built, the owners actually backed out of them. A lot of people
Oh.
backed out of their contracts.
A lot of the pre-builds and all that.
Yep. And
Oh,
that's what we're seeing across the books is we're seeing a lot of people backing out, and what they're doing to cover their ass is they're basically going in and trying to get other people to pick up the loan that have no possibility of getting approved and just
Right.
making contracts up to try and make it look like they have a new buyer for the one that got backed out of.
Are they obligated to keep building those houses that people bought pre-build, and even though those people will not be able to close?
Yeah, typically it's not in their best interest to not build it. So they try and find another buyer to fund it. And what they'll do is they typically will look for somebody, especially right now, or I guess they don't look for, but they're willing to take people that are underqualified because those are the only people that are looking. And they're willing to take their money to keep the house going to get the funding. And then probably more than likely, most of those people won't even get approved.
Okay, so those new people are kind of taking on the pre-build not down payment, but it's not exactly a mortgage, but it's just kind of like putting money in I don't know what it's called, but you're putting money towards the pre-build,
Yep.
but it's not a mortgage.
Yeah, it's not a mortgage.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Wow.
Yeah,
That's
it's kind of
crazy.
messed up, really, to be honest with you. But I really don't expect anything less from a lot of these, banks, institutions, and those type of companies all kind of work the same way, man. They're ruthless when it comes to that kind of stuff.
For sure.
Adobe, yeah, it's holding. That's definitely a hammerhead doji. I would think's downside. Veracity, no, this thing's gonna fall over. It's gonna for sure come back. Rumble, we kind of talked about this. Memeing it a little bit. Expectations were to come down low. It's kind of pulling back up. They might be able to get back above here. We'll see. If things are bullish tomorrow, they might be able to get back above support. That would be good for them. RSI still got room. So does stochastic. This is kind of weird because I've never seen a stochastic cross before. So I guess I've seen it, but it's not that often, at least higher time frames. All right, so moving into shop. We're already starting reject at the high. I had to move. We'll see how this plays out, but they're more than likely to come back. Again, 2-year inversion. We discussed this already. It usually doesn't stay up here for long. I don't think it's going to go much higher than, this 5% roughly. And then we're looking to probably do one of these and then fall off a cliff and then market crash, all the good stuff. You can see on the stochastic and the RSI, like this thing's way overcooked as far as 2-year bonds. 2-year bonds are a great indicator to kind of pay attention to. SPX, we already talked about that. CFD oil. So oils, look at those pops, guys. Look at those pops. They're not playing with oil. I'm telling you, this thing it's gonna boom. It's gonna boom. And if oil comes back up, inflation's coming back up. 100% it's coming back up with oil. 100% inflation will come back up with oil. Telling you. So going into 10's already falling back. That's not good because 2 years pumping, 10 years falling back. That means the inversion's still going on. It's still going on. So that's really not good. YFDI kind of consolidating here. This might be the new zone of liquidity here for YFDI, just FYI. I'd be looking for them to come back for this. I really would be looking for them to come back for this. Chinese yuan still falling against the dollar, kind of picked up a little bit there today. XRP consolidating back to the lows. You can see the lows, like this thing's been very consistent around a 33, 34 cent zone. There's no point in buying XRP above that for sure. And you could probably catch it lower later. Ethereum, BTC, again, like it's just fluttering with the highs here, right? Just fluttering with the highs here. I still expect this thing to come back. I can't see it just holding up here. Really, I'd like to see it kind of come back here to this 2018, 2019 scenario. Because when we bottomed in the market in 2019, it was closer to right around here, right? So when we bottomed here, you can see right here, that's the same thing we did here as we came all the way down here. We haven't even come close to falling under the 50 yet, which is making me think that we have something that may be bigger cooking that may drop this thing down and have those two kind of cross each other again. ETH BTC, that is. Beyond Meat's falling back down. Dot. Where are we at with Dot? Yep, Dot. Look at this look, I haven't moved anything, guys. Like these are perfect rejections right on the zones I show you guys every day. Right? Nice rejection right there. Pulling right off of it. Looking like it wants to come back down. For sure. Probably 424. Again, this definitely consider this a buy zone. We could come deeper, but like $4, you might be able to get down to a couple dollars, I think. But this is all buy for me for Dot. Not 6, 7, but like 4 and below. Like what I did get some when it was doing that. KSM looks like it wants to leg up again here. So that might be a nice long to catch if CPI comes out good, spot long. And what all I think it will do is come back up to the highs here around 38 and then probably fall back down again. Because it didn't break through here. I don't think we're gonna get a second breakthrough. I think a lot of these are forming up for an M and to come back down. That's really what I think on a lot of these. So we'll see how that plays out. Neo, again, just kind of holding the lows. AMD still holding this high here, hasn't broken yet. Hex, yeah, Hex is struggling here, way overbought. Looks like we got, bearish div right here, right on the daily. We have a bearish div. That means this thing's probably going to start falling over where it sits. And we are way overbought on stochastic on the weekly. Just above the 50, we could see it come back down and find support here and then maybe still stay above the 50. Although I think it will fall below the 50 at that point. And then the stochastic has to reset at this point. It's just too high. This is, look, if you look at the buy pressure, this is the same buy pressure you saw here. And where was this at? Anybody?
50 cents
But where was it?
on the high.
It's the highest move in the chart. Same price action where we're at right now. That's all I'm saying.
I'm there.
Yeah, this doesn't look good for Hex. This could be a big sell-off. Tesla, another one of those two. Tesla's highs, like we've already retested them pretty much. Already retested them. So we'll see where this goes, but I think Tesla's about to roll over too. Even if it pumps tomorrow, I think it'll still roll over. Kyber looks good. That's a nice pullback, holding liquidity zone beautifully, kind of lower zone here. I was expecting kind of a rollout here and Kyber to take off somewhere over here. Mexican peso, US dollar. So the peso's making a run. It's gonna hit up probably about 56 cents. Looks like because it got through. And then I think it'll reject here. This is the high of the move for sure on the peso. I don't think it'll get much higher than this. So about 56 cents on that. BBBY. Oh, we fell right under. Nice. So this is what I was looking for. I was looking for them to recover this wick. Watch this thing. If you guys want to take a quick gamble, if this thing hits the low here, I might go in for a long move here because that'll be the retest. They will have recaptured all the price action with a body candle low, and then they'll probably move long on this. Watching these meme stocks for sure, like a hawk. Let's see, Rivian. Yeah, I honestly might start buying in this zone. I just don't care anymore. I got the bullish div here. So I'm gonna probably start buying around in here. Gala. Told you guys that's a hard sell-off. That looks nasty. Yeah, it's close to support of the monthly. Could definitely retest the low here on 3 cents. So if you're looking, I think you will get another chance to get in Gala if you missed it. If you're scared you're gonna miss bottom, you can start down at 317, right? 3 cents, 17. And then if you're patient, I think you'll see 1 cent again, 1.6, 1.8, whatever. Out of here. Gala's coming. This again, we discussed this, right? Distribution round top, right? Everybody knows that at this point. I hope when you start to see this thing start to curl over like that, it's a distribution zone. Flux holding support. It looks like kind of right here on the upper trend. This looks pretty good. I don't like how overbought it is at the highs here. I do like that it's holding the 50. This is very nice. Makes it look like one might come back and curl back up. Again, my anticipation was they were going to hit this 130 right here, and they were going to try and retest the lows here. The only way this happens, though, in my eyes, I think, is if BTC retests 30K. Because this is basically the same position BTC would be at 30K. So we'll see how that plays out. AR rejection, clean rejection of the high, coming back down here, way overbought. I showed you guys the hidden bearish divergence right here between these two. And we're already catching that rejection. Looks beautiful coming back down on AR. Let's see. Peso dollar. So dollar looked like it wanted to rebound here. We'll see. It looks kind of sketch at this point. See if it can hold the position here. If it can, then great. It'll come back up. This is my thought was they would rebound here. If not, we might see a slow trickle back down to lows here, and that'll be 49. If we get to this point, though, I'm bullish on dollar over peso. This is Filipino peso, by the way. So if it can get down to here, probably about 49, 38, 49, 44, I'll be bullish on it because we have a pretty long trend on dollar peso here. That's been holding pretty well. I think that's a good place to take a position for a long position if you're looking to do that. Amazon.com. Still looks good. I like Amazon. And we got some stuff we're going to cover tonight too. Yeah, we'll talk about SAN. I have some projects and stuff I want to show you guys that I'm kind of paying attention to. So Amazon kind of caught that lower low. Really, this is kind of where I think there's always a tipping point in the market. See, you caught here, you hit here, you hit here, and you missed here, right? So if they start falling and break the low here, I think you're going to see a flush out on Amazon all the way to the 200. And that's going to be pretty nasty. And the reason I'm saying that is because when you start missing your retests, you're probably like, what do you mean your retest? Your retest of your macro trend, right? When you start missing and you start falling under your retest and you're not able to come back up to it, that's showing really, really bad liquidity, right? Like you're showing weakness. So at that point, this is where I would take it. The market's gonna go and just drop. And I'll come back to that. I can show you a similar move, kind of. And I love to use Tesla. I just love it. Let's see here. So if we look at Tesla as a whole here, this is where Tesla came down, found support, right? In previous support. It wanted to go, and then it just dropped. And really that's what I look for in a lot of these things. I look for when they get that first miss back to the high. Because really where Amazon was sitting, Amazon should have definitely retested that high. It was close enough, right? But they cut it short just out of reach. So when they do that, it makes me very bearish on that specific asset of whatever I'm looking at. It makes me think that they're going to just drop this thing. And really that's what I'm looking for Amazon. Now, could they run it up tomorrow and catch that liquidity? Sure they can. If they did that, that would build more confidence that we're going to continue this trend, right? But if they can't get back up here and touch this, basically this line in the next 14 days, I'm expecting we're going to see Amazon just go bloop at some point and just drop off a cliff. So something I'm going to be watching for. Long-term bullish on Amazon. Again, I think their AWS is, great technology. Is basically blockchain technology. And I think long-term, they're a great investment based on that alone, not their Amazon shipping business. I think that's horrible. I think they have no margins in that. But the AWS itself, if they can sell it, I think that's a great one.
Isn't a shipping business kind of like a monopoly? Like
Yeah, but they don't
have
make any
this-
money.
No,
Yeah, they don't make any money on that, man. It's because they offer free shipping. It's literally it.
yeah, but they basically cornered the market as far as online.
How did they corner the market?
Well, I mean, they're gonna sell anything for cheaper. Like as far as I understand, I don't really use them that much, but from what I've seen is that people have one way is they have their Prime accounts, so that's incentive for people to use them and get the free shipping, and then they're usually the first place people go to when they're online and they're looking for products.
So I'll give you a couple examples. So basically Amazon gives too much for the Prime account. And so the Prime account's actually underwater. It's not actually profitable for them, right? So they obviously the movies and everything else that they give out, and a lot of them have lost a lot of money because they weren't big hits, right? So they lost a lot of money on quite a few of them. I think the Rings of Power was one that they didn't make quite a bit on. The anticipations were a lot higher than what they made as far as margins. Not saying they didn't make money, they made money, but anticipations were a lot higher than what they actually made. Not to mention the Prime itself, that it basically can pay for like your basic services, which is what you get with the TV and everything else, right? The shipping itself is actually the problem is that they cornered the market by basically underbidding other companies, right? So they were going cheaper than other companies.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And so what it was doing to their margins is it was making them run at a net loss, but they were taking the losses to kill the other companies. So that same business model that they had then, they never fixed it. They kept it the same. So because they never fixed it, it's always been a losing business for them. Not saying they don't make money on the selling side, they do, but it's not as much as people think it is, right? So you're the distributor, you have a product, you sell that product, they make X amount off that product of whatever you're selling, but they also have to deliver it. And that delivery eats into their margins pretty heavily. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And then also like another thing is that they don't really have to I guess the delivery does eat out of it, because what I was gonna say is they don't really have to ever touch the product. They just get a cut of selling advertising it on their website. People buy it on their website. Most of the stuff you buy on Amazon is not from their warehouse. from what I understand. It just comes from wherever it comes from, and they get their cut of it because people buy it off Amazon. So to me, I
Well,
thought that was the biggest.
They do store too. So there is payment to store.
Right.
Right.
They do store a lot of stuff, but a lot like with the drop shipping and all, I mean, I don't know the whole details of it, but from my vague understanding of it is if I have a basement full of mouse pads, I sell them on Amazon. I send it from my basement to the customer, and Amazon just gets their cut from letting me advertise on their website.
I would say 90% of sellers actually send their product to Amazon and they store it and they ship it from there.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's
Yep.
what I thought was why they're just raking it in because
The
they
model you're using is more related to eBay,
right.
right? eBay's model is you ship your own products, you send them out, stuff like that. Amazon likes to run everything through them because it's got their name on it.
Fair.
And you have employees moving that product too. And then you have basically no questions asked returns. Right.
Right.
And that's a massive margin loss for a lot of companies. Walmart's one of the bigger ones for that too. It takes a big loss on that.
Sorry, you're saying that what was it that Amazon makes all the money from then? You said it's the tech?
The Amazon Web Services.
Oh,
That's a
really?
profitable business for them. Yeah, that is their profitable business. I'm not
What-
saying
what-
that the regular Amazon doesn't make money. I'm just saying it's not as profitable as people think it is.
What exactly is their tech or their service, their online services?
It's basically everything in the web pretty much is hosted on Amazon Web Services. Not
Like-
everything, but pretty much everything. Most crypto projects, many different websites. So you need a place to host, right? When you do any type of website, when you do any type of store, anything online, you need even though even your own website. Like let's say you make up something. It's not even like a place to
I
purchase
understand what
it.
you're saying. They need I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So like GoDaddy and stuff like that, like everything hosts pretty much on Amazon Web Services, like majority of everything. And so that's something really to pay attention to on their side. And they are trying to branch out and make that more of their business model and get people to pay more attention to it because not as many people do as you think. But I would say when it comes to AWS and it comes to Google, they have different operations, right? They operate differently, but they pretty much AWS and Google kind of own their own portions of the web through what they do.
Oh, that's
Google being the
crazy, yeah.
search engine and AWS being the host for everything.
I think most people like me had no idea that was a big part of their
Their margins?
Yeah, no idea.
It's costly. Like go look at, like I think they'll give you quotes. Like if you just want to make something up, send it to them and ask for a quote. It's pretty costly to use them. But their web services is also a blockchain too. So it's blockchain technology is what they use.
Wow. So it's basically like if say I make a YouTube and I need a mainframe for lack of a better term to be able to store all those videos on and all that stuff like that. It's basically virtual real estate.
It's more hosting, right?
Hosting, yeah.
Yeah, it's hosting. So storing is different, and Google kind of corners the storing, but Amazon Web Services kind of corners the hosting.
Okay.
So anytime AWS goes down, you'll see tons and tons of like company websites and everything else go down too. Because you have tons of businesses, construction businesses, everything else that host their websites on AWS. Even indirectly, right? Like you could be going through a third party like GoDaddy or something else, but they would still host on AWS.
Yeah, I got you. It's kind of like a layer one.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, the other ones would be like layer 2. So like GoDaddy maybe gets a cheaper cut because they have a bigger portion, and then they can offer you a cheaper one because you're going through them.
Wow. That's so they're like layer one basically, the Amazon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Amazon is a layer 1. Exactly. They are a layer 1 essentially.
Right. Okay. Sick. Yeah, thanks. I didn't know that. That's news to me.
Sure. Oh yeah, I think Rumble has one too. What is it? Alternateeconomy.com. Yeah. There's a lot of places that are coming out with them. The reason that a lot of people use AWS is because their downtime is very minimal. They really don't have downtime, right? And there are periodic blackouts every once in a while, and they have a lot of different areas that they host from. So it's pretty much it's almost doesn't happen downtime, but it can happen, right? It's more of a we'll just redirect you if you do get blacked out in our area. We'll redirect you to another area to keep you hosted. But yeah, we're gonna actually get into that here in a minute. PepsiCo kind of rolling into okay, so we kind of came down like I said we would. We didn't quite reach that low that I thought we would get to. We're bouncing up a little bit. Maybe we just kind of chop until we come back down. That's my thoughts on PepsiCo. So I think they're all centralized. All those are so I think the one Miguel's talking about, I think centralized. And then the one that I'm talking about with AWS, they're both centralized. Because they're owned by a company, right? Anytime they're owned by a company, they're basically centralized. The only true decentralized product out there, aka could be a hosting, will be Bitcoin, but Bitcoin would be horrible to host on. Everything else is centralized. Ethereum centralized, everyone centralized.
Everything's centralized that way. That's their way of, they can censor you. For example, if they want to shut you down, they shut your web services down.
Yep, exactly.
Just like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Rumble is part of the alternativeeconomy.com, and also they have a payment system that it's I don't know what they use right now. Is it Swift or no? Swift. The payment systems that the company, that Commerce use.
Yeah, I think it's Swift.
Like,
yeah.
Well, they don't use Swift in the alternativeeconomy.com. They have their own setup, everything their own, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, they have like their own financial institutions, all kinds of that. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool for sure.
Yeah, they're building it. They're just slowly, but surely building it.
Yeah, and we're gonna get into those a little deeper here in a minute.
It's a David and Goliath type of thing,
Yeah, 100%. So Lucid here, guys, I've started buying Lucid. Like I bought a little bit down here. I'm gonna buy some more. I don't really care. Companies, it's a good looking company. Again, not on the same level as Tesla, but I think it can definitely play on the same level playing field. Do I think it'll take up massive portions? I think Tesla will always hold the majority share of the EV market, but I think they could take up a good chunk, right? Maybe even a 5-10% move to Lucid would be massive as far as liquidity, and that would bring in big investors, and you'd see this thing just move off of that. This is a very small baby company. You got to take risk at the end of the day if you want to get invested in a good product. So this is one of the ones that I think that I'm going to take some decent risk on, and that's probably a good 5 or 10 year hold, and if it does well, then I'll sell it and buy something else. That's how it works. At least for me, that's how it works. I'm not one of those people to get invested emotionally. Yeah.
At some point, do you think you could kind of give a tutorial on remember how you showed us on CoinMarketCap when you're looking at a token, all the different aspects as far as like the following, Twitter, and all this kind of stuff. At some point, you think you do that for like companies, like for instance?
Oh, it's much easier with companies. Much easier, because you can see everything. You can see how much they're making, whether they're underwater, whether they're just using a lot of credit to stay afloat. Like there's so much information on companies that you can pull up. That's the nice thing about publicly traded. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go through it probably later on this week. Actually,
yeah, whenever. I mean, obviously not right now. You have your whatever you're planning on doing, but at some point that'd be awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Total crypto cap kind of dropping back down. We can see right here hitting those 900,000 or 900 billion ish kind of market cap. I watched this on a chart. I tried to show you guys how to do this without a chart. So let me try and find that real quick. Give me just a second. So if I were to do it without a chart, all you simply had to do is pull this up and look right here, right? And you can see just intraday. I'll tell you guys this. Look, if you guys don't know anything about anything, if you want to know if there's money coming into the market, come in and look at the market cap every single day. That's all you got to do on CoinMarketCap. Are you at 100? Are you at 1 trillion? Are you at 900 billion? Are you at 1.200 billion? Like if you start seeing this thing, let's say it goes to 1 billion today, 980 billion or 1 trillion today, 980 billion tomorrow, back to 1 trillion the next day, then goes 1 trillion 5. We'll say 1 trillion 5 billion next day, then goes back to 98 billion again, or 980 billion again, and then goes back up again to 1.5 trillion again. You're seeing inflows and outflows, but your inflows are starting to get bigger and bigger, right? It's kind of like looking at a chart, but in numbers. And then as you start to see your inflows, start to look good, and you're getting decent inflows, you're hovering above a good point of liquidity, right? 1 trillion is pretty good. When you start seeing that, you can start downloading this stuff, right? Because you can start to see the liquidity start to come in. The thing that I tell you guys to watch this for is because sometimes we'll be pumped up on Bitcoin, and you'll see, for instance, you'll all of a sudden see Hedera hash bar, and it just goes up and does a 6x. And you're like, oh my God, the market's freaking out. The market's going crazy. Whenever you feel like the market's going crazy, just come up here and look at this. If this hasn't moved, what do you think is happening to H bar? Anybody?
Getting inflated.
Liquidity grab.
Liquidity grab, but what are they doing? Is new money coming in?
No,
It's not the market
They're
maker.
rotating. That's it. They are just rotating liquidity. And whenever they're rotating liquidity, if you buy the top of that move, you're going to get wrecked. Do not buy into rotating liquidity.
It just basically means they're selling off one coin from one token and putting it to another,
Correct.
which is basically your kind of strategy.
And that's why I'm telling you guys to watch this, because if this isn't moving and you're seeing coins pumping, they are moving from coin to coin to coin, and you buy the top of a coin, you're going to get destroyed.
Is there a way to see like how much the number that it was yesterday?
You usually, like I said, like with H bar, for instance, all
No,
I
mean,
would
like,
do,
the actual market cap.
I'm going to give you guys, this right here. No.
Yeah, like how do
That's
you know what? If it's
Literally
moved
just
or
come
not?
in each morning and look at the market cap. That's it.
Right.
Each morning, just look at the market cap on CoinMarketCap. It's not hard. Now let's say this coin, OXAI coin. So when you see a coin that's been down, and all of a sudden you got this big ramp up, don't buy into it. Just don't. Because typically those big ramp ups just going to be like this big ramp up, and then it's going to come back down. You see how this works? They're swishing liquidity through the same pool. And this is what I was trying to post about on my Twitter the other day. Maybe I don't know if I explained it very well, but this is the point that I was trying to get to. If liquidity hasn't gone up in market cap, and keep in mind, this thing, it can swish from 990 billion to 1 trillion, 10 billion. That's not a lot of liquidity. I know some of you be like, oh my God. No, it's not a lot of liquidity. All right. If we jumped 100 billion, yeah, that would be a lot of liquidity. That means that money's stepping in. All you got to do is if you see 100 billion come in, like, all right, I need to start looking at coins that haven't moved yet. Not, hey, buy this coin or you're going to miss out. Not that. Coins that haven't moved yet. All right. With that out of the way, let's move back into the chart here. We got total again. Total has done nothing. Literally rejected the same high. Double top right here on total. We'll see if they can get it back up. Maybe they can get it back up to the high here. Look, this is a clear rejection here. It's like nothing too crazy here. I think I have sand here. No, this is US 30. So we do have a pump back up on the Dow Jones. I think people are thinking this thing's going to blow out. I can't see it. Can't see it. Not right now. We'll see tomorrow when the report comes out. Maybe the report comes out bullish. Maybe that pumps it through, right? Dow Jones blows out, and then we start seeing other things move with it. If that happens, guess what? Dow Jones is going to pump out, I think, hit this high, and I think it's going to reject. I am not bullish on this at all. I don't even know why anybody be buying Dow Jones. EOS coming back. Look at the weekly. Yeah, nothing too crazy. We've always had the potential to come back down to the trend, but the trend is still what? What is the trend?
Bearish.
Is it? What do you see there? Downtrend, uptrend. It's still got a bullish div. Still got a bullish div. So with a bullish div, this is why I bought more EOS the other day. That's what I told you guys. Like I got some more EOS because I'm expecting this thing to play out. 100% expecting this thing to play out. Why? It's been getting sold down for a long period of time. It's been looking very bearish, and this is a beautiful bullish div. It's a beautiful one. I like it. It's very nice. And the bullish div also hits the 30 right here. Right? Comes back and hits the 30. Got below the 30 over here. Extremely oversold. Hit the 30 right here. Running the floor. This thing's, it looks like it wants to pop at some point. I think people should not ignore this. Again, I'm not trying to get you guys to buy this. I'm just showing you what I'm seeing. VIX pulled right back out. Pop back up. We're going to see tomorrow. Because I think if things are extremely bullish tomorrow, we might get a breakthrough on the VIX. But really, what the stochastic is telling me, the VIX is oversold, even where it sits. So it tells me it needs to go up. But hey, maybe they push it back down to the floor, hold it there. But the VIX hasn't really broken trend at all. Like it popped through a little bit here on a wick, but the bodies have not broken through the trend. The trend's holding. So I'm not super bearish. I'm not super bullish on the market based on that. New Oriental playing out nicely. I was expecting a pullback here. We'll see if that plays out. KDA came back into the zone right here of liquidity. That $1 zone could have definitely picked some of that up at $1 if you guys wanted to. Apple coming back up to the highs. I expect Apple will try and run for this trend, right? Hit this trend probably around 161. And then I think we'll reject off of that. Apple's just, man, this thing's a thing of its own. I'll tell you that. It's saying on the monthly, it's just way oversold. Makes no logical sense to me. None. That the monthly is saying way oversold. Like this thing has barely came down. But hey, maybe Apple's more bullish than I think. Charts are telling me different than what I'm thinking on this. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But really, I mean, Apple could come up, hit the high here, come back down. Wouldn't really matter. It would just, and it could be kind of forming a bullish div too, right? Based off of this, the stochastic. But overall, when you look at the RSI is rolling down too. So it's telling me downside too. I don't see a bullish div on the RSI. That's why I'm kind of questionable on this stochastic. They're both reading opposites right now. So that's a difficult one to call. QQQ broke through the highs here, got to the bearish trend. Definitely still underneath the bearish trend on the RSI. So if we kind of hold below that, expect that to roll over, come back down. Again, same thing as Apple, right? Same way oversold on stochastic, but every measure on the RSI is telling me, hey, we're under the 50, we're bearish. This thing needs to roll back down. So we'll see how this ends up at the end of the day. Maybe we roll deeper, right? On the stochastic, maybe we just roll the floor. Keep in mind too, like the stochastic can have these periods where it just rolls the floor, right? And doesn't really come up. That's all it does, just rolls sideways. And that would just be the RSI cooling down as this thing kind of comes down. So that could always happen too. I'll go. I mean, I think it's going to come back down. I think we're going to see these lows again around 17 cents, to be honest with you. But I think anywhere's in the 23 to 17, like this is all buys. If you're interested in algo, it just, I'd like to see them recover this week. That'd make me feel more confident, but we might have a fast move back out if we do, just like we did over here, right? So if algo comes back down and revisits these lows, we could see a fast move back out. Coming over to Starbucks. Man, Starbucks is trying to play me. Hitting these highs, rejecting. We'll see how this thing plays out at the end of the day. That's a big buy up on a wick right there. But stochastic saying overbought. RSI has a little bit of room left. A little bit of room left on the RSI. They could retest a little bit, which means they'll probably just buy back up to the high and then come back down. That's what I think here. But you can see the bearish div here on the RSI. And that's kind of what played into this downside here. And really, man, this one's a hard one to figure out. Because to me, it looks like a head and shoulders forming, right? But let's see here. That's what it kind of looks like to me there. So we don't really have a retest of that over there though. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe. But this is my thoughts on this one. Just talking out loud, guys. Just kind of looking at this, talking out loud. It's kind of speculating here. CFD gold.
Oh, good.
Yep. Nice resistance. Stopped right here at the highs. Coming back down. Could be a retest of the watch that 1768. I think it's gonna come all the way back down here. If it can find support here, it'll roll back up to 2000. If it can't find support here, it's gonna just start rolling over and come back down to the lows. I got gold coming down to like 13 to probably even 1500, right? Between 15 and 1300. This is where I think gold settles at the end of the day. I think it settles in this lower zone. This is just a lot of liquidity it can sit on top of and use the support before it makes a move out way later, way later, as you can see by years. I think we're going to consolidate there for a long time.
So, Will, when you're looking at all these different charts, you're looking at the stochastic, the RSI, and the different levels of resistance,
Yep.
Those are the three main things you're looking at, yeah?
Yeah, those are the three main things that I'm typically looking at. We got a lot of bearish divs here on this one. ICP definitely has bearish divs. You got the lower low. You got the hidden bearish divs. Higher move right there. Right. And then you also have the obvious one, the higher move right there. So, you know, looking at that, really honestly, what I think ICP might do is come back to trend, right? This is good though, because this shows there was a lot of committed liquidity, even though price didn't move that much to push price. And that, to me, that shows price interest. But this thing coming back to here is kind of like ICP coming back down to this lower trend, right? And this round part just me showing kind of how ICP would roll out of this. Let me kind of delete some of that so we can see this a little better. So really ICP could roll down pretty far, but we'll see. We'll see. They might hold this low. That's what I'm thinking there. 341. If they come back down to 341, ICP to me is a buy. But like I said, it could go a little bit lower there for sure, down to like 171. I'm getting to the point now where some of these are just so low in the chart. Like we're looking at it like this, right? Every day. And I'm going to show you a different way to look at it. And yeah, this is great to kind of show price levels and tell where price levels are, but I need to show you guys the other way too, just so you can kind of visualize why I'm buying certain things, even though it seems insane, because we do think there's going to be lower lows. LTC here, I mean, to me, LTC looks like a distribution. It looks like you got the white candle here, white candle here. That's telling me liquidity is not committing, right? So we could be a long rollover, maybe a spike somewhere in here to get it up to that upper resistance. it just rolls and then it spikes right here and then just rolls and comes back. That's what I think for Litecoin. And if Litecoin distributes this whole zone all the way down, really, I think that'll break and it'll come back down and retest these lows. That will devastate people.
Why does LTC even exist since it's not, used by anything?
It's supposed to be like a payment system. That's essentially why it exists, to be honest with you. Fast, easy payments. It can be privacy or non-privacy. So that was why it was created. Kind of a silver of Bitcoin is the way a lot of people thought of it, but I think it's useless, to be honest. There's way better things you can use in the space than Litecoin.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. People will speculate on it, but I don't think it's useful product. And this is what I'm talking about. Remember when I said that you see that spike? See how Wu came up to take out that liquidity? Came out, spiked up, took it out, and then came back down really hard. Got sold down. And that's what you'll typically see in a good distribution zone. You'll see that spike somewhere. That's that massive interest. And now all these longs that committed up here, because there's probably a lot of longs that committed above resistance, right? They're trapped. They are trapped now. So it's actually in the market makers on this one's best interest to probably roll this back down so they can liquidate anybody who's on there. AMP consolidation. We talked about this. Look at a solid resistance. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Nice move right there. DXY. DXY still hasn't broken down, guys. Still has not broken down. Hold up well. I'm not bullish until DXY breaks. That's it. That's how this game is played. And really, I'd only be bullish until DXY hit this lower trend and not be bearish again. And you're probably like, why? Multi-year trend. Held this long. Yeah, it's at bottom. Yeah, exactly on the monthly. Just above the 50 on the RSI, which makes me actually very bullish on dollar, right? Because anytime you're above the 50, you can come back up and retest those highs. And that would basically just surge the dollar back up, give it enough room to come back down, right? That's why I'm kind of really paying attention to that. FTM, like I said, I called it head and shoulders here. Definitely called it head and shoulders here. And that's what I think is going to play here. I don't know if they can get back up to the side. Maybe they do tomorrow on the CPI report. Maybe tomorrow's CPI report's bad and that just drops the shoulder, right? But I think that FTM is definitely, Phantom is definitely a head and shoulders. This is where I think the settling level is around 15 cents. It could settle lower, but this is where I think it's going to settle above the previous liquidity over here. You can see over here on Stochastic, it just overbought on overbought and overbought and overbought. They just keep shoving price up. You got bearish macro trend where it basically fully rejected, just like showing right there. And they could even come back up and hit it. But if they come back up and hit that macro trend, I'm going to take this as an M. And it's going to come back down. I do not expect it to break out here. Typically, the macro bearish trend will break out somewhere around here once you've been under the 50 for a while and been very bearish underneath the macro trend. That's where you'll start to break out of that trend for real upside, right? We discussed Gallo towards the beginning, Jasmine. Cardano. No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, no biggie. I could recover it here in a minute. Cardano. That's a rejection. Really, I'm looking for Cardano to come back down. And this is really, these are some really good examples of like just, hopium pumps to get people into the market, pull people off the sidelines, get them to commit liquidity at the highs, and to take that. Really, that's the way I take a lot of this, man. It's sad, but that's what I think a lot of this has become. And you could see it clear as day right underneath resistance, supporting right now on the previous low, our previous drop off, right? Previous market high. And really, man, and if they come back down lower, it's going to really devastate a lot of people. That's clear to me. Way overbought. I did buy some, but I want you guys to understand that this to me, it looks like it looks like an accumulation, right? Looks like clean accumulation. And if this thing spikes, I'll sell, right? If it spikes, I'll sell. But if it continues to run sideways, I'm good. We're just kind of chomping at it a little bit by a little bit. I'm not adding a lot of liquidity. If you look at the RSI here on the bottom on Xcurve, this thing's been rolling the floor for a while, right? So all the way since April of 2022, it just kind of fell off a cliff and just rolling the floor. And now it's kind of like starting to round out, right? So I really like that price action. So it's something I'm interested in. So I got quite a bit of this. So there are times when stock RSI and RSI don't work.
Will you think inevitably we're going to see a period between now and the halving at minimum where there's going to be a lot of sideways action where it's just accumulation and distribution?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
there's definitely going to be a point where we see that.
Or it's just clean accumulation and clean distribution. Because the thing is like when the market's fully flushed out, you'll see accumulation and then you'll see distribution, and you'll see accumulation and you'll see distribution, right? You'll form your way up, but it just the market keeps on swishing back and forth because it's just so unsure, right? And when that uncertainty kind of steps in, that's kind of where you're at the perfect point to really be kind of looking at projects and putting money into the projects at your regular speed, right? Right now,
Right.
I'm actually investing much less than I normally would if I were to DCA normally, right? I'm just taking little bites here and there on certain things because I think that they have a chance to run. And if they don't, then I'm accumulating them, right? But I'm not investing in memes. I'm investing in real projects and stuff like that, which is really what I would say you guys should do. Not financial advice, obviously, but like, and I hate saying that too. Like, it's so stupid, but like,
No.
I think you
makes-
guys
it
should
makes
be
sense.
investing in good things, right? Just don't chase BS. Don't chase pumps. Don't chase. This is the next hottest thing. You saw Gala run up 6x. Don't be like, hey, Gala, because it ran up 6x. Look for meaningful things that are rolling the floor. Buy them, accumulate them, and understand they will run next market, right? And these are projects that you need to be vested in, that you need to understand and you need to pay attention to, because hey, if their socials go quiet for a month or two, you might want to be concerned, right? So you have to be consistently on it. That's the biggest thing. Let's see quick. Yeah, I'll go over sand here in just a second. Let me just kind of find out where I hit Gala real quick. Yeah, so Gallo's a distribution. So that's what we kind of talked about here. Kind of roll it over. Looks to me like it wants to come down. I think the support's sitting around 3 cents. If you wanted to get it there, or I think, but eventually this thing will come back down to the lows around 1.6 for sure. Gala's kind of floored here. I mean, really, it could go deeper, but like this is kind of one of those zones where you should start looking at getting it. All right. Oh, I did say I wanted to show you something else. So the one thing I want to show you guys, and this is something that I think you guys should really take into consideration when you're looking at a lot of these projects and you're like, oh, I need to get in. So this is log, right? So if I take log off, that's really what just happened, right? So when I see things kind of rolling here, I'm looking to get in them. But once you see them kind of bounce like this, it's just a small bounce off the floor. That's more than likely going to come back down. That's all people got to understand. Like, these are just liquidity bounces. And if you look at it from this perspective, does it look as crazy as what you're seeing with log on? Does that make you want to jump in? Anybody?
Are we looking at the stochastic and the RSI?
Nope, you're just looking at the chart.
It's pretty much at the bottom, pretty much at the floor.
Yeah. Like this, I wouldn't want to jump in because it just pumped, right? But when you're looking at other assets with log off, here, let me try and find one real quick, actually.
I think Gala had a good one, Will.
Gala? All right, yeah, let's look at Gala real quick. So if we look at Gala with log off, I mean, it's got a pump too, right? We don't want to pump. Like when you start seeing a sell like this, that's basically a decline wedge, right? It's just slowly declining. And what you really want to see is you want to kind of see it roll the floor, right? When you see that multi-month roll the floor, that's where you want to get in. You don't want to jump in on these little pumps because these pumps are going to come right back down. And they're just going to roll the floor again. This is why you got to take it from both perspectives. Log on just gives you price zones that allows you to see your levels easier. But log off is really where markets are at right now. And if we come over to something like
I just saw File has a good one. Well, exactly what you're talking about. It doesn't
yeah, let me show you guys this one. This is Google, right? This is log on. Watch this. That's log off. So Google has kind of consolidated the highs here, right? It just sat here and did this for a long time. See how it just up and down, up and down, up and down. There's not a lot of price action with log off. And then all of a sudden it took off. And now it's come back down to it, right? And really it could even wheedle back down to this liquidity at some point. But this is the reality of things. And then if we come over to, let me see, Meta's another one. And this is what people are buying into. This is what people are, you see something like this with log off, don't touch it. Just don't touch it. It's not worth your effort. Come over here to Bitcoin, same thing. Look, log off. That's log off. Right there.
Sorry, what is the log off? Log off? What does that mean?
So it just flattens out the chart a little more, right? When you're looking at it with log on, it just looks like up and up forever. And you're like, oh my God, I gotta get it now. And you freak out. When you turn log off, you're able to actually see what's going on with price. You're like, oh, okay, we're way at the floor right now with price. Like here, let's look at Kadena. Kadena probably be a good example. Let's go log off. Look, do you see Kadena's floor?
Yeah.
That's a buy. That's a buy. You see any pumps? As long as the project's not dead, this is ideally what you guys should be looking for. If the project's dead, it's different. What do you see? What is this?
The bottom.
But
Support, the bottom, or consolidation. Right? That's what we're seeing right now in stuff like this. Yes, it can go lower, but really, if it does another one of these, is that going to matter?
just looking for the right shoulder, isn't it?
And look at the entry on this.
Yeah,
Now-
even if you like hit half of the all-time high, it's still like a 12x.
Typically, this is how markets go. Think about it. Think about what I'm showing you right here. I am bearish, but I am not telling you guys don't buy at these levels.
Do you ignore that initial week, Will? Because it possibly just bots trashing themselves, or
Well, it probably is bots trashing themselves or trashing the project, but as much as I'd hate to ignore it, it looked like they tried to go for it
yeah.
and then got shut down by the bull market being over.
So is that a true
Yeah,
all-time
yeah.
high, Will? I mean,
What's
what
that?
would you say would be like the true all-time high for Kadena? Would you call it that way?
Honestly, most things tend to come back for that liquidity. And that's the same reason why I think Bitcoin will go to 8K. You're probably like, what? I thought you thought set up forever. Look, look, I'm gonna show you. Okay.
8K when?
Win is not a factor in TA. Win is not a factor in TA. Let me find the chart. Let me find the chart. So there it is. What do you see right there?
Yeah. Weak down, touch it.
And you know what's funny? Look right here.
Yep. Bang on it.
You guys remember hitting 17K today, 16K?
Nope.
So why did Binance go to 16K today? Good question, right?
Was that an issue with their BUSD?
Taking out
BNB?
longs, you hit the nail on the head there, Daniel. Most corrupt freaking exchange out there, man. But I think it's pre-predicting price. Or at least
BNB
where it will
token
go.
the same.
What's up?
The BNB token is the same wick.
Yeah, this is actually disgusting. Look at this. There ain't a long out there that survived that. That's all I'm saying. So like this liquid now that I sell this, because I didn't even know this existed. I was just looking for this. Now I think they're gonna wheedle down, grab this, right?
That's massive. The one in the middle.
Yeah. This was all in one day.
Oh,
I had told people in the group before this happened. I said put prices here, 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 and here, and here down there. I
holy
think
crap.
2 or 3 people did. Price went all the way through, grabbed their orders, came all the way back up.
Thanks for coming.
Insanity. Insanity.
Oh.
But this is how this market's played. That's how it's played. And if you know Binance, you can set prices really low and you'll get a scam wick at some point. No, you'll get your orders filled. All you got to do is
Yeah,
be
that's the
above the
question.
bottom. That's it. Right?
And they'll fill it.
Yeah. If they go through your order, you're filled.
Oh my goodness.
It's just if they touch your order, they more than likely won't fill it because they filled everybody else's too. Right. Those scenarios are where it's bad. So if you're above their wick position, you can definitely get your order filled.
Holy crap. You just talking about spot?
Yeah, just spot. That's it.
Yeah. Oof. Good day at the office.
Good. Just spot. That's it. Nothing else.
And you get it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I
Do they
thought-
do that to most of their assets?
They had that happen to a lot of Binance assets. This is not the first one. Yeah, Binance is really infamous for that kind of stuff.
I know I've seen it on like the BNB chain a lot. So it's projects
Yeah,
there. but
look at this wick right here.
They just get, yeah.
They scam wick all the time. Again, we call these scam wicks. That's what they are.
Jesus.
Yep.
Wonder if we can get the AI onto working out which one's next.
The main one I see it on is Binance. That's the main one.
Yeah, Will. And then when you have a chance, can you go over Binance and what you think is going on?
With BUSD or BNB or what?
Yeah, BNB.
I think BNB breaks at some point. We'll just have to see when. I mean, there's nothing too crazy with BNB. You can see right here, if you look at it from the monthly perspective, it basically just came up, grabbed the highs. I knew they were going to go for this too, man. It was crazy. I was like, at first I was like, they're not going to go for 340. And what do they do? Go straight for 340, right? Come up, hit the highs right here on the trend. And then what do? They pull back under the macro resistance immediately. Okay, now, so what they've done here is they've trapped people here, and now they've trapped people here. So if you longed on BNB, you're now stuck in your long, right? And what will they do? Well, they'll eventually come back down to here to take out those longs, to liquidate them. So yeah, you guys got to be really careful if you're playing with this exchange. Like this, I ultimately I don't think BNB goes out of business like FTX. But I do think BNB sees some heavy regulations, some heavy FUD sets in, and BNB gets crushed. Why? There's just too many fair value gaps here to grab. There's just too many right here. Price ran
It's crazy.
straight
It's
through
so
the price.
expensive.
Look,
It's just a gas token, really, isn't it?
there ain't that much interest in BNB. I'm sorry, there's just not. The only thing I'm buying at Smart Chain right now is shitcoins. That's it.
Pump and dump. Yeah.
There's no real projects being built on BNB. I'm buying at
No,
Smart Chain.
if you look at Dex Screener, they've probably got the most pump and dumps daily.
Yeah, the most scams, the most pump and dumps.
And and all the honeypots. Put your
Now,
tokens in. Then
If you look
can't
here,
send them away.
yeah,
They take your BNB off you.
this is the liquidity I'm looking for them to grab. I'm looking for them to come back and get all this liquidity. And that liquidity lines up with the macro trend, which is this trend right here.
You would expect it to bounce off that pretty hard, though, wouldn't you?
Off the macro trend, they could
Yeah.
wheedle it for a little bit to try and fake people out, think it's going to go deeper, and then eventually just skyrocket, boom, 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 start running it up. Because I expect when a bull market comes again, they're going to want this thing to be prime and ready, right? So if we get close to a bull run, they might start spiking price.
Hey, Will, can I ask you a question?
Yep.
Yeah, so so on this chart, what confused me is the Stotch RSI and the regular RSI. Like, what do you see? Because on the Starch, on a Stotch, it's at 20, but yet at the regular RSI, we're at the 50. So what does that mean?
So, okay, I can explain that. So a lot of people don't understand the stock as much as they understand the regular RSI. So they think that because the stock is moving this way, it's going to continue moving that way. The stock can literally sit here and do this while the RSI starts doing this. The only thing you should ever expect to bounce on when it hits the 30 is the RSI.
Oh. Great question, FYI.
Yeah. So the bounce doesn't have to happen on the stock. The stock can literally sit here at the lows. As you can see what happened right here, right? It just sat there at the lows, and then the RSI was still digging to the downside. And then eventually the RSI turned back around, and then price right here started to turn back around for the stock, and then stock ran up. But the stock does not have to necessarily continue moving this direction. It can literally just fold back over when this folds back over.
So if the Stotch is basically useless, why do we even have it on the chart?
It's not useless. It's useful when it's oversold and the RSI is matching, right? It's useful when it's oversold or overbought. And let's say the RSI is sitting at the 30 and the stochastic reading overbought.
Oh, okay.
Then in that case, what we're probably going to do at the 30 is we're probably going to roll in a little bit deeper. That's what that would mean, right? So the stock is a good way to kind of keep you in line that you could be looking at a little more downside as opposed to actually pulling out of that 30 and just turning back around and reversing. Or vice versa, right? Let's say the stock's extremely oversold and the RSI is overextended, right? So we're up here, stock's down here. If we're up here and stock's down here, what's probably going to happen is we'll probably pull back down. Stock will pull back down with it, and then we'll run back up again. And then the stock will run back up, right? And maybe the stock runs up to here this time. And then we pull back down, and then we run up again. And then you'll see the stock run back up. And then the stock will be oversold. And then the RSI and the stock will start cooling down together. See how that works?
Yeah. So it kind of like it kind of reminds me of like some kind of a divergent.
Yes.
Where
it's like a divergence. Exactly.
Okay.
So you're using it to kind of see, okay, is my market truly oversold or is it truly overbought? Or could I be looking at another leg here? What that helps you do is that helps you get good positions on shorts and longs if you're long and or short in the market, right? Because you don't want the market to move against you if you're trying to open a long or a short. So you want to make sure that you're on the right side of the trade. So if they're matching and everything lines up in your chart with the matching stochastic matching RSI, that's like your golden goose right there, right? That's your perfect environment to take a long or short. If they're not matching, then we need to figure out why they're not matching, and we need to look out for the potential of more downside or more upside against the move that we're looking to take. But another thing I do too is like, even if let's say the stochastic's rolling down here and the RSI is rolling up here, even if I think there's potential for a long, I'm not going to long the high of the move, right? I'm not going to long up here. I'm going to wait until everything lines up the way I need it to line up. And then when things line up the way I need them to line up, then I'll take the short because I'm at the high of the move, and vice versa. If we're at the low of the move, right, and these two things aren't lining up correctly, I'm not going to sorry, not long. Up here, I went short until, long here, and I went short here. So if things don't line up here and we're down here at the low of the move, even if I think price can break lower, if we're sitting here oversold, or we're sitting here oversold and we're above the 50, right? Above the 50, then what I'm going to look for is I'm going to look for this thing to bounce out the 50, come back up, and I'm going to look for this oversold to start moving back up. That means even though I think it's going to break here, it's going to actually come back up.
So then for example, I'm sorry. So then for example, do you have a perfect stock that kind of, it like what you're talking about right now in terms, so that we can see like maybe Tesla or Bed Bath and Beyond, or I don't know.
Yeah, we could look and see if we could find something that lines up good. So here's one. This is a good one. So you're probably like, what do you mean it's a good one? Things don't line up. They do line up. So the way they line up for me is we're at the high here, right? On the stochastic. I have a rule that if we're under the 50, we're bearish, right? And we're under the 50. So because we're under the 50 and we're at the high, this right here to me would look like a short. Now, is this 100% chance or 90% chance to me? No, I would say this is like a 75% chance this will play out. So what does that mean? That means this will turn into a distribution zone. We'll see the RSI roll back over to the lows, or we'll see the RSI come back up and hit, and then start slowly wheedling back down, right? And that'll be just maybe stochastic stays up here. And then when the stochastic matches the RSI at the lows, we got 2 at the lows, I'm long, right? And that could be at any price. If that price is here and these 2 items match up, I'm long from here. That's my perfect scenario. The most perfect scenario, my highest return trades, my best trades that I've made have been on the macro bear trend, right? So if price ever reaches the macro bear trend and becomes bearish, and remember we talked about the 50 right here. Look, I looked for the double top here. See how we topped out the same here? Topped out the same here. We fell below the 50 right here, came back up, hit, and then fell back below the 50. We met all the measures I needed to know this thing was going to fall over. So we hit the macro trend, right? We hit the double top move right here. We hit the high on the stochastic, right? We're really high on the stochastic, and we're leaning down. So we basically have bearish diverged right here because we're flat and we're down. So we got a bearish div right here. We don't have the bearish div here, but we do have the same triple top pretty much. So I've got a lot of things telling me, hey, this thing's going to crush. It's going to get crushed. And then so this is why I call it the 308 move here, is because everything here lined up. And then what happened? Boom. Came straight down. Where did I get out of the trade? Got out of the trade at the bottom, right here at the 30 on the RSI. Close enough to the bottom, right? And then what happened? After the 30, it bounced straight back up. Look how long the stochastic rolled the floor here.
We're on the bottom.
even though we weren't at the bottom in the RSI. But right here is where my conditions were met. Stochastic at the low, RSI at the low. Conditions are met. I need to get out of the trade. Then what happens? Market reverses from that position. This is to take greedy people back out. And really, they could even go like this, right? And push the stochastic to stay elevated and maybe push this thing back up. Maybe they get above the 50. That's why this isn't a high value trade. It's a semi-high value trade. There's a good scenario, good chance this has happened. If I were to put it in percentage wise, this is like a 75%. Whereas this move over here with the lineup and the way everything lined up for me, this was like a 90% chance trade. So again, it's a game of percentages at the end of the day for me. So it's like, okay, what is my likeliness? And then I go off my likeliness on how much I want to invest on the trade. So if I want to short, do puts or calls or whatever, then I'm typically looking to have the best, most high value trades when I'm doing that. So like this middle trade, this isn't the trade for me. I'll tell you that. Like I'm not looking to take this trade. Why? Because I like the higher value trades. The higher value trades are at my macro bearish trade.
That's a great breakdown, Will. Thank you.
Thank you, Will.
No problem. So right now I'm spot long and I do have some shorts, but the shorts I have open are on overvalued things like Starbucks, for instance, right? Starbucks to me is very, very overvalued. And if you look at the P&E, again, they're extremely high. I think they're like 46 or something like that. Average P&E, you're sitting around 16. And that's price to earnings, basically. Yeah, that would be probably my most successful trades. Did you have any other questions other than that?
No, thank you.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Let me go over some stuff with you guys before we close down the meeting. I do have some cool stuff I want to show you guys that I'm watching and looking to, because I told you guys, hey, I'm going to be actively looking for projects and all that good stuff. Same thing I've been telling you guys to do. So just so you guys know, Avalanche and AWS have a partnership and they're working together and they're looking to create probably an NFT platform is what it looks like. Yeah, at least Amazon is. And I think they're going to use Avalanche as partners to be able to produce that. So to me, that's bullish on the AVAX token. I'm going to be actively watching price action on that, but I wanted to bring that up. Here's their announcement right here between Amazon and Avalanche. And then here is the Amazon NFT discussion where they're talking about potentially, yada, yada. What I could see coming from this, if this ends up playing out, is that it could bring more adoption to the Avalanche chain. And if Avalanche chain gets more adoption, that could be very bullish for Avalanche and pump Avalanche pretty well. NFT initiative. So I'll put this up in the Discord real quick.
It's already got a lot of projects too.
Yeah. I got a
lot
lot
of
stuff.
lot of devs on it.
Yeah, and they're actively looking to be in blockchain. What I'm noticing is a lot of these are looking to get into the NFT space. This is making me very, very bullish on NFTs. Not to buy NFTs, but to look to things that work around NFTs, right? That's I am not looking to get caught out on some bad NFTs. I'm telling you, not right now. This is the best time to invest. You gotta put your money in the right places.
Oh shit.
Let me see here. Image. Oh, this is AWS. I'll put this in there too if you guys want to understand Amazon's blockchain. So this is a really good description of that. I'll put this in the breaking news. And then here's eBay, by the way, which is a competitor to Amazon. They're looking to actively do the same thing. So I couldn't find a project based around what they're trying to do yet. I am still digging into this. If you guys can find anything, that would be amazing. I'll keep digging. This is something I'm actively looking for because I think that they would want to work with somebody in the space, and I'm trying to figure out who that would be. So this is something I'm actively trying to investigate right now. but I'll put this in the breaking news.
Okay.
And then where is it?
Is eBay owned States?
They what?
Is eBay an American company?
Yeah, it's basically like Amazon, except you ship your own stuff.
Yeah. No, I was just wondering where it actually originates from. That's all. I assumed it did.
Let's see. Oh, so WeTransfer, you guys can look into it. They're basically partnering with Minima. So this is something I'm looking into. They're not out yet, by the way. But if you look at Minima on, let's go through here.
Digital file sharing.
So Minima looks good. If you go to their website, they do have availability to get into their public. I'm not saying to invest in this, guys. I'm just showing you guys. They have a public pre-sale going on. I think you have 6 hours to sign up left or something like 4 hours. So if you guys are interested, you only have 4 hours to get in. So this is off the CoinMarketCap, so not a scam or anything like that. It's directly from there. I'll put this in the breaking news also. So that's the pre-sale if you guys are interested in that. This is also a layer one. It's basically something that you could run nodes on your phone. That's how this thing works. It's gonna be a project where you can run nodes on your phone. It's a layer one blockchain. Again, layer one's always bullish. They always seem to do good returns as long as it's not a scam, right? At the end of the day. Definitely DYOR. I didn't have a lot of time before the meeting to do a lot of research into this. I'm still looking into it. But I mean, if you guys are interested, the pre-sale is only for like 4 more hours or something like that, but it's there. So Google, where is it at? So Google, just so you guys know, and this is really interesting. I'm gonna put this in there too. But I'm doing some deep research into this company. So this is called Fireblocks. And I want to see like they are actually tied into the space really deep. And this is like a real company, right? A lot of these
is massive.
Yeah, a lot of these companies come to Fireblocks to help them with their development or help them with a platform or help them kind of get their stuff along or payment systems, like all kinds of stuff right here. Look, banking and payments, trading and brokerage, exchange and lending, Web3 and fintechs. Like these guys are tied in deep. I don't think a lot of people realize that these guys are playing in the background big time.
Everything.
Yeah. And Google is actually an investor in these guys. This is a private company. I'm trying to figure out ways to get invested in things that are tied into them specifically. But
so Fireblocks is private.
Yeah, it's private. Yep, exactly.
That's why I couldn't work out how to get anything on them. I've been searching for a way to invest in Fireblocks a while ago, but I just couldn't find anything.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah. So I've been kind of actively looking. I'm still kind of looking, but Google's invested in them pretty heavily. So keep that in mind too. But if you look through their page, like they are literally in everything when it comes to crypto. Look, Shiba, Sand, like the whole nine.
So then are you looking for a play to get into Fireblocks?
I'm looking for a play that can be tied to them or or a project that they're working with or any of that stuff, right? I'm looking for anything.
They're not going to waste their time, are they? Really?
Yeah, they're definitely not. So right here is all their partners and stuff like that. Become a partner. They got a lot. They got a lot going on. So definitely something worth researching.
Got a lot of cookies as well.
Yeah. This is another one too. So Samsung partners with Engine Coin, obviously January 2024. This was a big one too. So I bring this up and I know some people are like, oh, that's old news. Don't forget these things happened, right? Follow development, understand what's going on, and don't forget these bigger players are tied into the space a lot deeper than what people think. So when Engine Coin's way down in price, it's something that you should be paying attention to.
Was this for their smart TV platform and stuff?
Yeah.
As a currency on their smart TVs, yeah.
They're going to get into e-gaming here. I think that's what they're looking for with Engine is e-gaming. Another one too is Samsung partners with Theta Labs. So look, I'm showing you guys this
Data's gone
because
quiet.
nobody's talking about these projects.
Data's gone really quiet.
Yep. Nobody's talking about Theta. Nobody's talking about Engine, but they're still developing, right? They're still developing. So just don't ignore things that still have a presence in the space. Is basically what I'm trying to tell you. This one right here, Gemini is going to be doing, I think, payment systems or wallets for Samsung, and Samsung's going to be doing a blockchain, just FYI. So that's something else too. I was looking for ways to get into that as far as Gemini. And then Polygon partners with Samsung to bring highest quality photos, videos, yada yada yada. This was in January of 2023. So they're collaborating also with Samsung, which I never even heard of this. Like nobody's even talked about this on the Polygon network.
Samsung blockchain could be massive because they integrate it through all their devices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's just instant.
Well, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that.
Oh my
So
goodness.
Samsung is preparing its own metaverse hardware partnership with Google and Qualcomm. So they're looking to actually create their own VR headsets and there was devices.
With built-in modems.
Yeah, they're gonna. This right here is where they're gonna do metaverse hardware, and then they're gonna be doing VR and stuff like that. Really, this could be really bad for Facebook.
They're gonna have 5G and GPS built in likely.
Yes, exactly.
Because of Qualcomm.
Another one too that I missed here is they are also partnered with Ledger, and they're gonna have Ledger build Ledger wallets into their Samsung phone. Hold on, Samsung partners with Ledger, I think it was. Yeah.
You're trying to make me sell my iPhone?
Here it is, right here. So Samsung X Ledger bundle announced may include the Galaxy S23. So basically, they're gonna add the Ledger to the S23. Tell me how crazy that is. That's nuts. That is nuts.
That's a completely separate security chip then.
Yeah. Like this is it's gonna be pretty crazy. That's what I'm saying. Like there's gonna be some crazy stuff going on here. So
to silo that's
as much as people think that crypto's dead, this is pretty recent, right? And there's a lot of these that are pretty recent. Like this is January 19th of 2023.
Hey, Will, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Is there a way for us to invest in Samsung? I'm from California.
From California?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could just buy Samsung stock, but it's not cheap.
Really?
Very
Because
pricey.
I don't even see the ticker for Samsung.
Yeah, I think there's, hold on, let me pull it up real quick. Yeah, I think there's a stock for it. Yeah, so the ticker is ARW.
ARW.
Yeah. Standard. Let's add it to this one. KRW. Oh,
Yeah, I still can't find it.
Let me see here real quick. Hold on.
I mean, the only reason why I am
Oh, sorry, KRX. It looks like KRX. Is that not it either? It says KRX. Let's see.
Yeah, because like if Samsung is really partnering with all those various crypto coins, I mean, we're
Right here. Got it. Right there. I'll put it in the chat real quick. So
KRX.
general chat.
Cool.
I put it in general chat and Discord. That's what you got to put in.
Thank you, Will.
Yeah, no problem. So this is Samsung Electronic right here. They actually had an amazing price from what they were saying. Jesus. They're at what, 97,000? And they're now at 63,000 per stock. Yeah, this looks really good.
What was the lowest point?
The lowest point was 55,000, so you haven't lost much.
Very nice.
This actually looks really solid on a, if I were to draw a trend line on this. Like that's some really good touches right there. I like that. I mean, it looks like just some beautiful growth here on
Yeah,
Samsung.
that looks like one of the war stocks.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's like. A war stock, exactly. Just up forever. But yeah, this Samsung's gonna be doing a lot, guys. Like, I think just people don't realize like Samsung's like a sleeping giant. It has a lot of money in it, but it's one of those things that just keeps innovating, just random things, man. And they do it well. They do everything well that they create. Like I said, they're making Apple's cameras. They're doing all kinds of stuff. They're just so in depth and everything. And I believe they're what, a Korean company or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yep, correct.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Except their TV operating system sucks.
Oh, that's why. So when I told you KRX, so that's just the Korean dollar, I think. Right? Is that what that is? 63,000 Korean dollars or something like that?
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what that is. That's why, because I told you KRX, but that's actually the dollar, Korean dollar. So you probably have to put in like Samsung Electronics.
63,000. I was like 63,000 for stock. I'm like, whoa.
Let's see if we can find it in dollars. Ooh, I think we can. USD.
I think it's SSNLF.
SSNLF. Oh, okay. There we go. Oh,
There you go. That's
this looks much better. Dollar wise.
Yeah,
What is in that? 2,000? No, 20.
doesn't have a history.
Yeah, 2,000.
Yeah, because then the only thing that I've ever been able to find to invest on Samsung is through a ETF. I mean, obviously, you know, it's not the entire Samsung, but like for example, if you go to the ETF EWY, which is a South Korea cap ETF, it has like over 20% of its holdings. So that's if you guys are interested.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at I'm gonna see if they have it on what I'm using.
Yeah, because I totally agree. Samsung is a sleeping giant. Like no one's really talking about it right now, and so you know, so that in my ulterior secret ways, I'm like, could this be the next Amazon?
Yeah, well, what's the go with the RSI?
The RSI?
Like, look at it, just bang.
I don't know what that is because it's definitely not down. That's all.
Like, it's just gone fuck.
Yeah, this chart's jacked. While you could use it for dollars, it's not good for looking at. Like this one looks much better. So it's 63,300 Korean won or something like that. SSNLF, right?
What's this? Okay, is that just the American dollar?
You can buy it on TD Ameritrade. You can definitely buy it on TD Ameritrade. Stocks. It's 47.33 per stock on TD. So I don't know what that chart is talking about, but
Yeah,
That
that's
is-
weird.
that is about 20. All right.
Wait, how'd you do it, Will?
Put an SSNLF on TD Ameritrade.
Can you repeat that? S what?
SSN.
SSN as in Nancy?
Yep.
Okay.
And then LF.
Oh, okay. Cool. All right. Check it out.
Boy, you say about 20.
Will is like the master hacker. He found it so easily.
No, somebody else found it.
I was like spending hours. I was like, damn.
Crowdsourcing, awesome.
Yeah, I don't know what they're using on TD, but they have it on TD Ameritrade.
Sweet.
It might be like an ETF or whatever. I don't know. Doesn't look like it. Looks like the real thing, but doesn't say ETF.
Well, what I see is that on the chart that we were looking at earlier, it's the price is $40.60, but it looks like it gapped down. It's weird.
Yeah. This one looks a lot better, to be honest with you. The price action on this one. Like, even if this isn't in dollars, you can see the chart direction. So it's a lot cleaner. And this has a lot of history on it too. You got all the way back to 92, right? So looks pretty good.
It's because they keep making TV screens bigger, isn't it?
Yeah, TVs are kind of a losing battle when it comes to margins. There's very small
Yeah.
margins in TVs. A lot of people don't realize that, but it's not worth the effort. But Samsung's like,
Oh, so they've actually, the manufacturers of there's not much margin for them anymore either.
yeah,
I know
they-
there's no margin for retailers. There's nothing in it.
yeah. Well, actually, retailers are the ones that make out because there's no margin for the seller. It's just it used to be a lucrative industry, but it's so
Yeah.
diluted by so many manufacturers that it makes it a losing battle, right? It's kind of like mattresses, right? Like you can't make margins on mattresses because there's so many mattress makers. So
Yeah, they're too heavy to transport.
yeah, there's just it's horrible business. But Samsung's done a lot more than just TVs. TVs is kind of like one of their staples, but they make money more on like cameras and stuff like that. Like the camera lenses are very, very pricey. So but yeah, let's go back. Oh yeah, this was it right there. Yeah. So I mean, this is pretty much kind of the wrap up of the season. Like I said, just watch for the opposite move of the market direction tomorrow. If the market dumps immediately, expect it to come back up. If it pumps immediately, expect it to come back down. I don't think that any bullish news or bearish news right now, and unless extremes, right? Unless we see extremes, which I don't expect extremes. I expect kind of in line, either bullish or bearish side, but in line. And in line will just bring us just right back to the highs if it's bullish, and in line if it's bearish will bring us back to the previous lows, probably, sitting around that 16K, 15K zone. If things get, to a decently in line for bears. If not, we might just sit here and kind of distribute in this top upper zone on BTC. And then once that distribution's over, if nothing can come out bullish or there's no narratives to play on, then the market can't play the market to the upside if there's no narratives. So they'll end up dropping price back down to consolidate and bring buyers back in my opinion.
Do you mind posting a couple of those Samsung links in the chat, Will? Or you said you were going to do that earlier?
Yeah, I put the ticker in SSNLF in general chat.
In Trading View, the ticker is stopped reading at it in 2018.
That's what
But
I was
it-
thinking. That's what I was
weird.
thinking. All right. There you go. And we'll do at here so people know. Oh, no, I just accidentally pinged Cheryl. Whoops. She doesn't know.
Hey
Here.
there.
All right, there we go. So I did at here in general chat.
I'm right here, okay?
My bad.
Hey there.
Oh man. Yeah. So yeah, that's the ticker right there for Samsung. I put a lot of the info from all the stuff we just discussed on the different things that are being invested in and looked at and stuff like that. I put those in the breaking news channel. So just go there to kind of find all that stuff. The minimum pre-sales out. I think there's another one too. I was looking at Kai Network, KAI, I think. It hasn't launched yet, I don't think. Maybe it's not KAI. I gotta remember what that is. I'll look it up later. It's some kind of green chain, but it's not out yet, so no rush. Oh, another one too that I wanted to point out is Flow. So Google is vested in Flow. We see that through here. So basically, the invested includes digital asset custodies firms like Fireblock, which is one I showed you, and then NFT projects NBA Top Shot, which is what they do. And the other one that Google has invested / partner with is Dapper Labs, and Dapper Labs token is Flow. So that's something else to keep an eye on. Is Flow token could start to see some good price action going into the next bull run. Could be worth accumulating based on them being Dapper Labs token and Google being invested in Dapper Labs specifically. So I was able to get a crypto that was partnered with, kind of in a sense, / invested in by Google, and that would be Flow. And Flow is down massively, as you can see.
Oh, underwater.
Yeah. So and it could trend deeper. Don't get me wrong. That's a definite downtrend.
Yeah, but I mean, Flow is good. It has a lot of partnerships with the UFC, NBA.
Yep.
Pretty
And
solid.
everybody's ignoring it. Everybody, oh Gala, oh this, oh that. They're looking at all the 9x, 10x things that have already ran. These are things that haven't run yet. These are things you guys got to pay attention to. Just buy them, hold them. I'm not telling you buy, but just if you're interested, buy them, hold them, and just wait for the moves. That's basically it. I think these will be solid holds going into the next bull run. I really do.
Sand too is they just acquired. They just partnered up with Saudi Arabia last week, I think.
Yeah,
so
yeah, they
that's
are built for NFTs. Yeah. Sand, yeah, Sand's kind of rolling the floor. I think this is the floor for Sand. And it's roughly the same as what it was over here, right? So if we look at it from the perspective of log off, this is how it would look with log off. So yeah, it's within a buy zone, but I think Sand's had a little bit of a run up here. It could roll over a little deeper for sure. But yeah, I'd say 50 cents is a fair price for Sand.
Plus, you can stake Sand on their website for like 11% APY, so it's pretty solid.
Yeah, Coinbase is, I think, invested in Flow too, so it's definitely something to not ignore.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick up some Flow too, man.
That's a good one to kind of keep an eye on. So far.
Hey, Will, check out GRT graph. I mean, I've been looking at it and I've been watching the RSI, and it looks bullish.
The graph.
We're gonna look at it from this perspective.
On the daily.
There's a lot of big holders of that. I'd watch that don't get dumped on. There's not many wallet holders.
It's about to bounce off the 13 EMA and the 50 EMA is about to cross the 200 EMA on the daily. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
there's a lot of players that want to pump that.
Yeah, if it gets a pump, I'd get out of it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm not saying you can't buy it. I'm just saying like this thing has ran.
Right.
That's a massive wick right there, right? And I showed you guys they probably go for this liquidity, and it's exactly where they went for it. Look, came up, hit it, ran right back off of it, flew back down, and now we're kind of hovering here, right?
There's very few wallets holding most of those tokens.
Yeah, that's when you have to be careful, is when there's major holders, but not a lot of holders.
It's a very small pool, that one.
Yeah,
I
I would
was really interested in it until I learned that.
another one too to pay attention to. And we've been talking about this too, Tad. You've been interested also in this one, but another one too I'd say to be watching is Moonbeam. So don't ignore Moonbeam. GLMR. I think there's going to be price interest in this. This thing has been rolling the floor, right? It just hit 40 cents. Could go deeper. Could definitely go deeper, but it's been rolling the floor. It's 40 cents. This thing could definitely see a nice spike, if not, accumulation phase. This is under $1 billion now. So it's very low. I think this is the lowest price has been at all.
Oh,
And if DOT, I'm telling you guys right now, if DOT is active in the 2024 bull run, as in
there's no one left to dump on you then.
up and running, all these projects are going to explode. If it's not active, you might get some pumps, but you're not going to see extreme gains. Right? But I'm willing to bet DOT will be up and running by the next bull run. All right. Any other questions? Pancake swap.
Thank you, Will.
Yeah, we can look at pancake real quick. Give me a second. What time is it? Oh, 9:43. Yeah, I do have to hit the gym, but I will definitely run through that for you. Give me just a second. I think I have pancake on here. Maybe. Maybe not. Thought I did. Maybe I took it off. Yeah, I stopped looking at like Pancake, Uni, stuff like that a long time ago. Just I don't really see the point in them. Payment tokens.
Uniswap's launching on Binance.
I do like the
I'll try.
uptrend here. I mean, if you're good with thinking that Binance isn't going to get smacked at some point, then I think Pancake's a play, right? Because here's the issue: if Binance ends up somehow getting some kind of regulation or something else, you're going to see everything on that chain get crushed. That includes Pancake Swap. They are all in relation. So
Does that include my pegged paid tokens?
if it's on Binance chain,
Uh-oh.
I'm not gonna lie, I've literally moved all my Binance, any tokens on the BSC chain, I've moved them over to ETH or some other chain.
Yep.
Just
What's
because
the- what are
I'm
gas
scared
fees
that
like
there, there could be a liquidity run, there could be all kinds of stuff that could happen there. What's that?
What are gas fees like at the moment on ETH for purchase? Like just
$9,
for
$5.
swap? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, it could be a lot for a lot of people, but the reality is like I'd rather have safety and pay a little more than be cheap and lose my money.
And just get smashed.
Yeah.
Like driving your car without insurance.
Yeah. When we look at this, like it has a solid floor. Like if you were looking interested to buy, then say $3.14. That's where I would be looking to buy, but I'm looking at the stochastic, extremely overbought, and this is one of the lineups we talked about, and we just rejected out the 50, right? So to me, that's spelling downside all the way. And if we catch downside, we're gonna definitely come back and probably hit that, in my opinion, for Pancake. And then if not, break and go deeper. Either way, but that's kind of what I think will happen there.
Got a lot of gambling utility, Pancake Swap.
Yeah. Pancake itself, like I don't know why people buy payment tokens. That's what I call them, right? Like Uniswap token is a payment token. Pancake Swap is a payment token. These are all like you can play the price action, don't get me wrong, but like that's all they're really good for is like playing the price action. Outside of that, like they're not worth the buy and hold, in my opinion.
No.
Really, those payment pools should dry up, right? they can add liquidity to those payment pools. That's something they definitely do probably too, right? Is they probably add liquidity to them to keep them going. But based off activity and their fees and everything like that. But at the end of the day, it's just not worth it, in my opinion, to invest in payment tokens because they're using those tokens to pay people for liquidity pool providing and stuff like that, staking. Like it's just gonna have constant sell pressure on it. Let's see. Super and EOS. Yeah, we discussed EOS towards the beginning. Still in that bullish div. Probably under like $1 before it hits the support again. But I'm in EOS. Let's see. Super. Yeah, we can look at super.
Hey, Will, so on Cake, I mean, just looking at it as like a TA perspective, I mean, it's not a bad looking chart, right? I mean, if you look at the all-time high, you're looking in the 40s. So, I mean, it's like at least a 10 to 12x to that if it never hits that again.
If it get to it, but I think there's so many projects out there that are not payment tokens that have a much better chance of getting you even more than that. Like, I don't see the point in investing in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, that's my only thing there. Like I said, if you're trying to play the price action, these are great for that. These get so much fluctuating price action because of buying and selling, and that's just people getting their rewards and selling into it, and then the market maker, which would be PancakeSwap itself, adding liquidity to it to pump it back up, and then other people investing in it from time to time, will pump it back up too. It's great for price action. But like the reality is like I think there's you got plenty of 50x, 100x's sitting out there, in my opinion. They're just people aren't paying attention to for the next bull run. Not next week, not next month, but I think by next bull run, you could see a lot of these run up in those ranges. You just got to know when to pull the trigger to sell.
Yeah, that's a tricky bit.
Yep, that's the hardest part. I'll help you guys with that. Don't worry. You guys will be like, no. I'll be like, yeah, gotta sell everything.
There should be a rug feature on your wallet so someone else can just like make it sell.
Make it sell all of it. Super looks good. Like we had a solid drawdown right here. This is a great consolidation of the low. I like it a lot. Really good consolidation in this 9 cents. Looks like a solid position. That's a big pop. That's a big pop for such a small move on the RSI. And then you got the stochastic saying oversold, same heights of kind of where it was at previous peaks. So this could definitely roll back down. I would say that on super. Really, if you guys are looking for things that look really good, look for things that are just kind of trickling, right? You don't want any volatility. You just don't want it. Like if you got volatility, it's already moving. You already missed the boat. If it's just kind of rolling the floor, kind of like what I showed you with Moonbeam, like, hey, these things are looking good, right? I don't think super's really kind of popped that hard, but I would definitely let it kind of cool down. I think it can definitely cool down the way it looks. It might not even be a lower low. It might be a higher low on the RSI. Might start pulling a bullish div, right? Or it might just start building from here. We'll see how that plays out. But either way, it's not gonna. It'll more than likely have a more decent pullback from here, I think.
Not yet super.
Yeah. Superfarm though is a decent project. I've looked into it.
What is it?
It's an NFT platform.
Yeah.
So
you reckon NFTs are you reckon NFTs are going to be huge in the way they were, just because so many people have been?
I just showed you all these companies that are investing, man. Again,
yeah,
it's not about picking the gold, aka picking NFTs. It's about selling the shovels of the picks, right? So
what do
you're
you
looking to invest around it.
What do you think the technology they're looking at is behind it? The utility, like
there's a lot. There's actually a lot.
Anything in particular that you?
So I can give you a use case. So like an NFT that can kind of tell you whether or not a bag is authentic, right? Maybe it's tied to it or something like that, like a Gucci bag or
Oh, yeah,
something like
yeah.
that. You know, authenticity NFTs.
Yeah, okay.
We'll say product NFTs. So like say you get a water pump from BMW, they send you the NFT showing you that the water pump's authentic or whatever. Like it's kind of like a stamp, like a digital stamp, kind of showing you, hey, we
Probably
replaced all the
track it
parts
through
with
their logistics as well. Then I guess.
correct. Yep. That's exactly it.
Yeah, okay, makes sense
Oh,
because shipping
yeah.
is already using blockchain. So
Yep. It's a logistics thing more than anything. That you hit the nail on the
Yeah,
head. That's
okay.
exactly what it would be.
makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that would be the real world use case, in my opinion, is it would just make logistics way better.
Yeah, and that's what I guess when they talk about medicine, I look at it as in just tracking and logistics.
Correct. Yeah.
Say you're diabetic,
I mean-
you know your stuff's coming, or you know where to find the product. It's
Mhm.
available where, you know, when you need it in a hurry.
Even
some of
even
it take time, you know.
BlackRock said it that everything is gonna be tokenized, so that's gonna be a
Yeah.
Yep.
NFTs.
Yeah, when you go, like say you go to buy a Gucci bag off eBay, there's no more questioning, is it authentic? They sell you the NFT with the Gucci bag and they got a match
Yeah.
1-to-1. Right.
Exactly. That's gonna be so dope, man. What?
Yeah. It's gonna be authenticity, you know, / tracking food, right? Food would be another way. So you're probably like, what do you mean food? Well, you would basically essentially just kind of scan food and you could see back to where the food came from and
Like
you
where
know
honey
where that
came
cow
from.
came from. Yep. What farm
Is
it
that
came
the big
from
scan?
specifically, what country it came
Yeah.
from specifically. Is it really what's it
The
called?
product you're after.
Yeah, is it really the product you're after? But also is it what do they call it when it's healthy?
Free range,
Sustainable.
I don't know.
free range chicken.
Free range, yeah. Is it really free range, right? Is is the product really organic, right?
Yeah,
You
that's
can
the
go
word,
through
yeah.
and see all that stuff, and that would really change the game for food. It would change the game for everything. So yeah, exactly. It could have a health rating on the authenticity of the tokenized, you know, basically tracking system. Tacos. Track where your tacos came from. Yeah.
I think they use like on ships now, like because there's a lot of drone ships, so they just got automated rudders.
Yeah.
So the captain's not actually really piloting it, and the workers on the ship, they basically walk around with like a bracelet on. It's just like our close proximity Bluetooth, and it works on blockchain just to see how everything's working.
Yep. I mean, same thing. Like if you've ever worked in like a high security area, that's all blockchain. Like,
oh, that's all I do.
Your scan in, scan out, your eye retina stuff, everything like that, all that's stored in a blockchain.
Is that blockchain?
It's all closed, centralized, closed blockchain.
That's all I do every day of my life.
They track all that stuff. They can track your activity through the building through blockchain also. So like if you went through this door and that door, everywhere you scan in and out.
Yeah. My job is to track people and keep them in.
Keep them.
Yeah, right. I just didn't realize it was that. Yeah, I work in custodial, so. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just it's really the blockchain has been around longer than people think. They think it's only been crypto. No, it's been around much longer. Crypto is just a way to move money, right? That's really was the original intention of crypto, is the way to freely move money without government intervention. That was the thought process behind Bitcoin and the blockchain and the way it was used with crypto. So
I feel really slow on the uptake. You just explained all that because now it makes perfect sense.
yeah, exactly. And that's what a lot of people don't understand is like that was the real world use case of crypto. And that's why you had things like XRP, Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum. They were all Ethereum though was built to build more systems, right? That's what Ethereum was. That's why it was a layer 1. It was essentially, kind of there to challenge AWS and the blockchain that was created, centralized. And really, a lot of people were like, oh yeah, Ethereum, it's decentralized blockchain. No, Ethereum was centralized. It just people didn't realize it was centralized until later on, as you kind of educate yourself. And you realize that the only truly decentralized project in the entire space is Bitcoin. That's it. Everything else is centralized in crypto. It's owned or created by an entity, and that's who monetizes it. Good.
Isn't Kadena like a better version of Bitcoin. So couldn't Kadena also be decentralized?
Do people constantly update Cadena's code?
No.
Yeah, they have web services and they have developers and coders and stuff like that. Cadena is a company / entity. So all cryptos have that. All cryptos do. It's not just Cadena. So like if you go to Cadena, for instance, you come over to their website.
So they got smart contracts essentially.
Who do you think runs this website?
Cadena.
Cadena. Who do you think you contact when you hit contact?
Bill Gates.
The people at Cadena.
Sorry.
So yeah, all these projects are centralized. I know it's hard to take in, like, because people may have thought a different thing, but like this is just the reality of the space. Everything in the space is centralized. It's centralized in a different way, right?
If you want enterprise and you want mass adoption, then you're going to have to sort of accept some level of centralization.
Correct. Yep. Yeah. It's just some of these centralized entities are hidden, right? But they're still centralized. Is the contract controllable for a lot of these? Yeah. A lot of these contracts can be altered. That's the other thing too.
Is that just for like the main network token? But say you've got another token, say like a DeFi product or something else, just something else.
Mm-hmm.
Are they controlled?
Yeah, I mean, anything and everything, right? Even Uniswap.
Or is it because they control the peg and they can control whether tokens leave or come back to the network? Is that how they control it? They control the bridges? And...
Yes. Yeah, they control the staking, they control the movement, they control, like, if you're in certain areas with your coins, like on their site or whatever, and you're staking, like they can take your tokens essentially if they wanted to.
Yeah, MetaMask.
So like, yeah, all that stuff it's all centralized, right? If they can control your stuff, it's centralized. There is nothing in Bitcoin that can be controlled by a centralized entity. Unless you purposely put yourself in that situation. Right? Not your keys, not your crypto. All right. Any other questions?
Thank you, Will.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, much appreciated.
I don't think Cadena is founded by Carl Deman. Yeah, I was gonna say that.
I'll definitely be investing in Flow heavily though. That's a big project.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm just giving you guys the info, not really trying to tell you guys what to do or anything like that, but I want to keep you guys educated on the space and understanding what's going on in the space and understanding like where money is gonna actually move.
You do a good job of it. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I keep seeing people get hyped up on like things that are pumping. You got to stay away from things that are, look, you're looking to see things that aren't pumping. Why? Because when they pump, you get the money. When they've already pumped and you buy into them, you're giving them your money. That's how this game is played.
It's just like stacking cards, but you want to be the bottom one and take out the top.
Exactly. Let it run. You get a 9x, get out. That's it.
Oh, it's a Ponzi. Of course it is.
At the end of the day, like even stocks, I'll be real with you guys, even stock companies, they're all Ponzi's. This is why inflation exists, to create Ponzi's. That is why if they didn't have inflation, nobody would invest.
Supply and demand.
Yeah, that's it at the end of the day. All right, I'm gonna upload this tonight. It is, just so you guys know, it's gonna take me longer to upload these because I gotta upload them to my YouTube. But I'm gonna upload this tonight to my YouTube, and then I'll apply the video tonight. It'll be private, but anybody with access to the video can access it. So you guys will definitely have access in the Discord. It's just like if somebody went to my channel randomly, they wouldn't be able to. What's that?
I love that you're putting it to YouTube because I have trouble watching it like on the bigger screen when you play back the Zooms. Smaller screen.
Oh, gotcha.
YouTube's just, well, it's freaking YouTube. I can watch it on anything. It's awesome.
Exactly.
So plus, Will, you can get a following on YouTube, right? Once you upload.
What's that?
You can get a following on YouTube once you uploaded it on YouTube, right?
I mean, yeah, but it's just gonna be you guys.
Oh, it's gonna be like a private link.
Yeah,
Okay, yes.
it's gonna
On
be a
this-
private link directly for you guys. Like this Discord is for people who want my real insight and don't just come by to just like see me post every once in a while on Twitter, come by to YouTube to find out information that they want to hear. Like you guys are here dedicated, putting in your time. So I want it to be, you know, for you guys that are putting in your time. So I'm not gonna just open that up for everybody.
Thank you, Will. That's golden. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate it all the way.
When you pause, it crashes the Zoom playback. That's crazy. Yeah, I'll upload them to YouTube for you guys. No worries.
When do you think the next meeting will be, Senor?
We'll chat again probably this weekend if that's cool with everybody. I got a full work week this week and still gotta finish out the videos that I have left, but yeah, we'll chat again this weekend. We should be good. Like we got ahead of the CPI for right now. I don't feel there's going to be a lot of price action movement. Like I said, it's going to be up and then a down or a down and then an up. You know how it typically runs. I can call the tops and bottoms of these things pretty easily.
It's gambling right now, isn't it? Really?
It's really a gambling position.
I'm just not touching anything.
If you're taking positions right now, like I do have some spot exposure in case things run, right? But that's spot. That's not leverage. So two totally different things. So I bought some things and I showed you guys kind of what I bought, like EOS and stuff like that. All these things are on floors. Like if the market tanks, it's not going to bring my portfolio down because these things are already crushed. So it's not really affecting me. But like if you bought into like a 9x coin or a 10x coin, that thing's going to come down 9x or 10x if the market gets crushed. So you're going to get really hurt on your portfolio. And that's why I'm trying to tell you guys, like, hey, buy if you want to buy into the news and you're afraid that the market's going to take off, buy things that are down already. Don't buy something that moved.
It worked. You told us this a little while ago, and just this last pump that really worked.
Yep.
I've just watched it ever since, and they're just long-term holds, so I haven't sold. I'm just
holding. Yeah, exactly. That's where I'm at right now. I'm just taking some nibbles, long-term holds, willing to sit on them.
Nothing big, just small.
Right. Yeah, call the moon with cast. Female, yeah. All right, guys, we'll chat again. Thank you guys for showing up again. If I can get in here earlier, I'll definitely try to have a meeting throughout the week if I can. It's just been a crazy week, and it's
don't stress yourself, Will.
All right, Top G.
We'll definitely meet again this weekend for sure. All right, man.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Will.
No worries.
Bye.
Gracias.